Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Futon Talks. I am your host, Christopher Midling, joined as always by my best friend, the Demon Slayer, Joshua Castro.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm here. I'm so excited to be here.
We're finally doing it.
We did it.
After so much popular demand.
Dude, it's been so bad. I mean, we've been having to put the mail in our bathtubs. It's overflowing.
We've been having to burn it.
It's
so
horrible.
much of it.
We caused the fires here in California.
We are starting to do this thing. We were going to do Dark Souls later, but we had the brilliant idea of going through every single Souls game from Software up until Elden Ring in January. So we are expediting the process. We got Dark Souls 1 now, and you'll have Dark Souls 2 later, and then 3, and then Bloodborne, and then Sekiro, and then Elden Ring will be there, which is kind of crazy to think about is actually happening. Just a brief preface for everyone listening. We are not experts. We are not Vadi Vidyas, or the Brothers Code. They're great, both of them. Awesome channels. Go look them up. Fantastic. Huge help with getting certain storylines and story beats down for me, at least. You know, they're great. I'm sure you've listened to a plethora of documentaries and videos. And then B, kind of like where we're coming at, like where we're coming from, kind of reviewing this game. Mm-hmm. We brief summary. I never liked From Software games for the longest time. Then I played Neo, got the platinum, and then I kind of went backwards. I went from Neo to Bloodborne, and then I think Sekiro, or maybe Dark Souls 1, then Sekiro, and then I did Dark Souls 2 for a while, and then 3, and here we are. And then obviously the Demon Souls remake, which we already have an episode on. Mm-hmm. And what's your brief history with Souls?
Where do I come from? I'll speak softly. Okay, so what have I been up to?
I hate you.
My journey began in Yharnam, and the perfect game which Sony refuses to capitalize on in Bloodborne. I loved it. I thought I was gonna hate it. It was fantastic. So much better than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And, it really came out of left field for me. Next one I played was Demon Souls, and I freaking loved it. I think a little more than most people did. I really, really enjoyed Demon Souls.
Fantastic game. It's
fantastic. And then, so this is my third. I guess you would call me more of a noob in that regard. But, I mean, I've got 2 under my belt. Yeah. So I feel like at this point,
the roots are in the ground. You're here to stay.
I am the bed of chaos.
You are the bed of chaos. That's right.
That's right.
You stupid witch.
You stupid witch. But yeah, so I'd say I have some understanding of the series at this point. Mm-hmm. And this game was sure was a roller coaster. Sure was an adventure. So I'm really excited to talk to you about it.
Me too. I am so excited.
We've really held off talking about it, at least the last couple days. We talked about it on the podcast before, but it's been, It's
a long time coming.
Yeah.
For us.
I've been playing this for probably a month, at least. Oh, I didn't look at my playtime.
Don't worry about it. You did 2 playthroughs, I mean.
I did. At some point, we'll do math, and I'll try to look up my stats.
Yeah, maybe put a graphic on the screen.
That's right. I'll put graphs on
and then for people listening, too bad.
Get over it.
Get over it, Podbean listeners.
All 3 of you.
More quickly just say like how we're going to do this, very much like Demon Souls. I'll do like a quick summary of the world that we're playing in, and then we will go through the game through the bosses. I mean, we can get really nitty gritty with it and and talk about all the NPCs and all the item descriptions. And it's like that's where VaatiVidya and the Brothers Code comes in. That's their shtick.
That's their thing.
We're very casual. So we're just gonna go through the bosses, and then Josh and I are going to compare our rankings of the bosses, and then for you guys, we'll have a definitive Futon Talks list. I don't know if we do rankings. We don't do rankings. I mean, like not rankings, but I don't know if we ever grade the game ever really.
I say we do. I want to, because these games, I feel we should compare. This to Demon Souls to Bloodborne.
Should we keep it a secret for when we do a Futon fight on all the Souls games?
I think even if we discuss this versus Demon Souls, it'll be different by the end.
I think you're right. What would you give Demon Souls? I don't think we gave it a grading system.
Are we talking American grade school, or are we talking Japan?
Yeah, American.
American, because we're American. I, like you, am an American.
Yeah, maybe even the tier list that you see on YouTube now, like the S tiers, A tiers, and stuff like that.
Asia. I love it. Yeah, I'd say Demon Souls solid B+.
B+, okay.
Bloodborne for me would be A+.
Okay. It's been a long time since I played a lot of other Souls games like Bloodborne. I mean, I could, from memory, I can just say, A or S tier for most of them.
In my opinion on Bloodborne may be different, because we're going to go back and play it.
Yeah, so. It could be vastly different. Especially after playing Dark Souls 3.
Shut up.
Demon Souls, yeah, B+ or A-. I thought it was great, and it still might be my favorite PS5 game that I've played. I would have to think about that, but just a gut feeling, at least top 3 PS5 games.
I really enjoyed it. The sheer beauty.
Oh.
It's ridiculous.
It's definitely the prettiest game on PS5. I saw a gameplay of it. I was like, this looks unreal.
This is the Unreal Engine. I'm just kidding. No, it is stupidly beautiful.
Yeah. Good job, Bluepoint. But here, let's get into a quick history of the game. What's going on here? So, it all started in an Age of Ancients with dragons.
The Age of Ancients.
Yes. And then there was a soul that these people found. These Lord Souls that they found under the ground. And, there's Gwyn. He got one. He's like the Soul of Light, or the King of Light, or whatever. The Lord of Light?
Yes, and then the Lord of Cinder.
And then the Lord of Cinder. And then you got the Witch of Izalith and her daughters. And you got Gravelord Nito, the first person to die, technically.
First undead.
And then you have the Furtive Pygmy, which we'll get into that. And this is where we come in as the player, this hollow. So as the fire was fading, all these guys tried rekindling the flame so that their age of fire would be extended. And their age of fire was, they killed all the dragons. They set up their giant cities like Honor Londo. And, they were living pretty high, high on life until it started fading. And they did some crazy stuff to try to keep it going. And it wasn't really working. And after that, that's where the hollows start coming in. And all the hollows have a dark sigil or a dark sign that makes them weaker. We'll get into it later, but I think Gwyn put this sign on all humans to keep them at bay because he was afraid of how powerful they are. Because as a hollow, you can either keep the flame going or you can bring about the Age of Dark, which is the age of humanity. And that is basically a very rough synopsis of what's going on here in this game. Everything else is so lore heavy in the items, the environmental storytelling, the characters, dialogues. I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, even certain little gestures that you do is crazy. But maybe we just do a quick general feeling. How do you feel about this game, Josh?
Should we just do our 3 words?
Oh, I guess so. I forgot about the 3 words again.
You fool. It's
Yeah,
like you
give me your
haven't been on 27 episodes of this show.
Give me your 3 words for Dark Souls Remastered.
My 3 words are Dark Souls Remastered. I'm just kidding. My 3 words, and I actually prepared these in advance for once.
I have not. So.
Yeah, Chris doesn't like to think ahead. My 3 words are these. Frustrating, hate, and love.
Those are some powerful words, my friend.
Such is the power of love. It's, yeah, I will leave it there and allow you to give me your words.
I'm sure we'll get into all that with the boss.
Yes. Frustrating, hate, and love.
Yeah, love is there for me. Definitely. Sadness. Or maybe melancholy. We overuse the word melancholy, so I'll just keep it. I mean, but it is like a feeling that I get with this game. Intricate.
I like that. Delicate even.
Yeah. I'll leave it there as well. But I guess should we just start with the Asylum Demon?
Yeah. Or can we give our general thoughts on the game?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, Chris, calm down. You're a
So
little bit too
gung-ho.
big for your britches there. Buttons popping off.
Those trousers are too big on you, boy.
Put on some new trousers. Now let me tell you just my journey with this game before we get into the bosses, because I know the second we start talking about the bosses, it's over. Like we can't look at the big picture again, or maybe we could, but
Yeah,
it's
I understand.
such a discussion to be had. But this game, much more than Bloodborne or Demon Souls, I found to just be so unenjoyable for the longest time. And one day, I just woke up and was like, I like this game. And I hate that.
That's the bug.
Like, you have no idea
skin.
how angry it makes me that I love this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was saying it on the show, like, I really disliked this. And it wasn't that it was too hard. I mean, there were only like 4 bosses that I died to at all, you know? Most of my deaths were to falling. Oh, it's like we're playing a FromSoft game. But, man, there was something about it I just didn't like. And then I just realized I liked it. And I said it to you earlier, but it's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this game has kept me captive now for a month. And I've just come to love it because I can't escape it. I don't know.
Yes. Maybe
Maybe it is fantastic. And there are parts of it that I think are very deserving of the praise that it gets. But it's just the weirdest experience I've had. Going from despising this game one day and just actively really not liking it, and then to having really positive feelings towards it. It's been a really weird experience.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you learned to love.
My wife is too.
I'm sure.
But yeah, tell me what you think. What was your journey like? I mean, I know you already like this game.
But for the longest time, I hated these games.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stand them. And, I mean, I've talked about it before. A lot of it was the culture behind it, the get good.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a real gamer until you've finished Dark Souls or anything like that. And I hate stuff like that. I hate the gatekeeping for video games because it should just be all for fun. And, you know, like I said, one day it just clicked with me with Neo.
The hardest
One of the hardest ones. And simply on the fact that it was a samurai. You know, that's the thing that kept me going. It's like, I like samurai. I want to see where this is going. And it took a long while for me to appreciate Dark Souls. So, yeah, I mean, I finished the game, I think twice. No, I finished it once, a few years back. I think when the remasters came out, or the remastered trilogy, which was a little steel book right there. And I absolutely fell in love with this game, everything about it, and I'm so grateful that I love this game, because I would feel so bad to not have at least played it, but to not feel the way that I feel about it now. You know, it's one of those things, like, I would hate to, this is a bad example, but we were just talking about Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to be someone who can't just at least appreciate it and find the joy in it.
Oh, you Spider-Man 3 haters.
Yeah.
Idiots. Best movie ever made.
I'm grateful for that, because Dark Souls is one of those pillars for me now, where it's a powerful game. And it's, I don't know, I just love everything about it. It's gotten me through some tough times. I hate saying that. It's a video game, but
people always say that, yeah. Especially with this game in particular. I've noticed.
It's just, and it's a learning curve, and that's another reason why I like it. It's learning to have patience, you know. It's not, I mean, I find the game really easy now.
But yeah, I feel once you beat this game, it's easy.
Yeah.
But that's the way with most of these are. And that's not like to like talk down to people.
Games aren't bad because they're easy. And we'll get into it, like Dark Souls 2.
And it's not easy because we're good. It's easy because once you know what to do, it's easy to do, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to say like where the learning curve is and where like the mastering of the game begins. Because I think there are people who have mastered this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've gone through the ins and outs of every area, and they know how to break the game to do whatever they want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love this game, and I know we'll get to the core of it through our discussion of the bosses and stuff.
Yes.
So we start with Asylum Demon.
Yes.
Vanguard.
Vanguard Demon.
He's
easy Vanguard.
Yeah, he's just easy Vanguard, but it's just a quick thing, you know, I think Vanguard or Asylum Demon is a little bit not better than Vanguard, because in our Demon Souls discussion, Vanguard was my favorite boss in the game.
Yes,
just because
really
of how
Vanguard.
It introduced you into the world of Demon Souls. And this, it's like, it's a great introduction, as in it's showing you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Asylum Demon is easy peasy. Daunting, it's huge. But, you know, you might die once if you're a beginner, if this is your first Souls game. But it's kind of like, hey, you can do this. This isn't a game where it's like impossible to beat.
Yeah.
You know? But that's legit my thoughts on Asylum Demon. I don't know if you have anything to say about the Asylum itself with it, or anything on the boss.
I'll say a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I really love Oscar, who's the guy who lets you out.
Yes, Oscar.
I think it's just a really cool story thing that I don't think I got it on my own, just because I'm just like clicking through because I want to get started with the game. I just click through all the dialogue, which is bad, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know,
sin.
I'm a sinner. But then, you know, I've watched probably, 5 or 6 critiques, 5 or 6 videos that are like, this is the best game ever, and this is why. And, a couple retrospectives, just trying to see what people think and why. Because believe it or not, there's actually a lot of people that don't love this game. And I don't think I fall into that camp anymore. Anyways, the point is this. People talk about how Oscar and like doing things in Oscar's memory really helped them feel the story and really helps them like care about what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because Oscar's dying wish is for you to go ring the bells of awakening. You know? And then you go do that for Oscar, essentially. You're not doing it for any other reason.
Yeah, that can be lost on a lot of people for sure.
It's lost on me. But I think it adds a lot of power to your actions and to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So Oscar's cool. Plus he reminds me of what's the guy's name? The guy of Astora.
Ostrava.
Ostrava. I freaking love Ostrava.
Of Boletaria.
Of Boletaria. I love
Ostrava's
him.
great.
He was good. He reminded me of him.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely feels like he's the spiritual successor to him.
Yeah.
In a way.
Him and Solaire.
Yeah.
Essentially. And I like both of those characters a lot. But Asylum Demon, there's something that a lot of people complained about in critiques and even in like positive videos about Dark Souls, and that was that plunging attacks weren't used enough. But I used plunging attacks constantly the whole game. Like I'd train people next to stairwells and plunge down on them. I used it on like several bosses. You know, I actively tried to use plunge attacks the whole game, even if it didn't do like a special animation for it. So I don't know. I thought that was a really weird thing that people got mad about.
I don't know.
Critiqued.
Why do you want to do plunging attacks so much? Like to the
They're
people
awesome.
complaining about it. Like, yeah, it's fun. I think I only did it for the 2 bosses that like it's obvious Asylum and Taurus. So,
did you ever use it on normal enemies?
I guess
used it a lot.
I guess I did. It's
You do like quadruple damage or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess I did. I'm getting a little mixed up with stuff, but because it's been so long since I played this. Yeah, no, plunging attacks are great, and you can always find ways and places to use it. So, I mean, that's, I guess, on your creativity,
Idiots.
your imagination.
You guys didn't think that.
But yeah, no, that's a weird complaint.
I agree. So I wanted to bring that up.
It's like saying you don't use rolling strikes enough.
I know.
It's like, just do it more.
You could do it, and then it would work. I'm like, there's not enough parrying in this game. No, I agree. But I agree with you. I think he's a perfect starter boss. He's reskinned a couple times, and it gets worse each time, in my opinion. But he's great. He telegraphs his attacks. He lets you stay behind him. Does buku damage when the time comes. I think he's awesome.
Since we're still in the Asylum, should we just go into Stray Demon?
Yeah.
It's the same thoughts, kind of. Like, how do you feel the second go of Asylum Demon is?
There's some parts I like about him more, actually. I like him. I think his AoE blast is really stupid. It's just really stupid. You can't see it. You know, he always does it when you're like in a corner. So I personally think that moveset is really frustrating. And that was my main complaint with this game for a while, was just that it's really frustrating.
With like the hitboxes and stuff?
Yeah, like sometimes there's
that's
design
just in
elements.
every Souls game.
But I didn't feel it nearly as much in Demon Souls or in Bloodborne. Where I felt this game was much more frustrating in its design on purpose. And I still feel that way to an extent.
Was it on purpose, or was it just its age? Because you're referencing newer games.
Yeah, but Demon Souls has hardly changed.
I guess so.
I mean, there are frustrating things about Demon Souls, of course. And it's probably just rose-colored glasses.
They did make changes in Demon Souls, because like in the original, you could only roll in 4 directions, but now you can. You can do 8 or 16 or however many it is now. So I feel you, though. Some of the AoEs are absolutely abysmal.
It's just... It
I think
doesn't
it
seem
comes,
obvious where it ends.
Yeah, it's the iframes. You have to like... Some attacks you have to go earlier with the rolls or later with the rolls. Like, sometimes you have to roll as you're getting hit to miss it, to like dodge.
Yeah.
So I understand.
But no, I think his moveset just becomes more frustrating, where I think they could have done something better. Like, for example, if they just add an attack where he can hit you when you're behind him, I think it would have adequately made the boss more difficult without adding a cheesy move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
So it just, for me, it feels like, oh, that's bad difficulty because you can't even see it really. But I'm bad at the game, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my only problem. Plus, it's just I give it more of a pass than the Fire Sage because it makes sense that this demon would be here because it's the same place as the last one that looked the same.
Yeah.
And there's some cinematic quality to it. I like that you're in the basement. I like that you fall through the floor.
Falling through the floor is so cool.
It's really cool.
And one problem I have with this boss, because I agree with everything you're saying so far.
I wish he plunge attacked you.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be dope, though?
Sit on you.
You start with 1 health.
You basically start with 1 health. You lose like nearly all of it when you get down the ground in the basement. But the problem I have with this is adding those skeletons into the fight that you have to kill first. But you can kill them before the floor collapses if you...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Because the four skeletons will fall with you.
I think I killed him and just didn't think about it.
Just didn't think about it?
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like... Okay.
I will also say a lot of moments in this game were ruined for me.
By enemies.
Yes, but also just because I've watched speedruns of this game before, because I like watching speedruns. So I'll watch speedruns for games I've never played, and it spoils them for me. So moments like the floor falling in, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't try to fight the Asylum Demon because I knew you're supposed to go through the door. We'll come on more just as we talk, but I already knew how to do a lot of things just because I've seen speedruns. And so I think that did dampen my experience, where it would have been better. But because I had already done all, or I'd already seen it all.
Maybe it was better because you knew what you were doing a little bit.
And that might be true too. But a lot of the grandeur was lost on me.
Yeah.
I know what Londo looked like. You know what I mean? Of course, I already know.
Yeah. It's like 10 years old.
Yeah. And so it's a little lame because a lot of people are like, when I saw Londo, it changed my life. And you're like, oh, shut up, you freaking weirdos. I saw the stars. I saw the stars, and my soul came alive. People talk about this game like it's a religion. Calm down, guys. Anyways, plus Londo is like fine looking.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I get the contract. I get it. Anyways, but Stray Demon, I thought it was a wrong improvement, if that makes any sense. Okay.
And then we get into later on. We leave the asylum through the crow, and we get to Firelink Shrine. We get to Firelink Shrine, and we go up to the undead parish or burg.
Yes,
burg. Burge or burg?
Burg.
Burg. We fight the Taurus Demon. I've killed this boss countless times, honestly, because of how many times I've like started the game and then quit. He is another lesson, and he is your lesson in the plunging attack.
Again,
he's another lesson in plunging. But funny enough, he killed himself for me. He jumped off the bridge.
Nice. Just like I wanted to.
Yeah. So I was like, that's cool. Taurus Demon. We will see a pattern that's really cool in this game and in a lot of Souls games where they turn bosses into normal enemies. And this is one of them.
Is it cool or is it lazy?
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool
because it shows how much you've grown as like a character and how strong you've gotten to the point where, like, obviously it's not the same amount of health, and they're not as strong as the boss itself. But it's a nice. Be, though. It maybe it might be. But it's just like it shows you that's like these guys are nothing.
And nothing.
You know.
You're nothing.
Ash under your boots.
Ash under your boots.
As I say.
I love that.
So
frozen snot in your nose. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. When I go into the freezer and Rayleigh's.
Anyway, sorry.
The worst is getting icicles on your mustache.
Ooh, shatter it. No more stash for you.
No. Taurus Demon's cool. I like his entrance. You know, he jumps down off the castle
thing. The parapet.
The watchtower.
Yes.
So yeah.
I like this boss.
Yeah.
Especially the aesthetic of just fighting on the broken bridge. I think
cool.
It's really cool.
Like, whoa, this is, the sun setting in the background.
This is tight. And it's
tight.
It's very, very Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that you're on this really narrow arena. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the inclusion of the archers. I think it's really clever design that the archers are there to draw your attention to the watchtower.
Yeah.
And then help you.
And it's like, oh, there's a ladder.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I can plunge attack. Like, it's smart.
Yeah, it's another lesson being like, just watch your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
This game has a very good tutorial, let's say.
It's no Dead Space.
Yeah. It's not Dead Space. Demon Souls, I think, has a more punishing tutorial because it kind of just throws you into it.
Yeah, Demon Souls is mean.
But yeah, it's Taurus Demon's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the kind of like one of the most iconic bosses, the gargoyle demons, the bell gargoyles.
The bell gargoyles. You want to know the quote that I heard 15 times?
What?
This is where the real Dark Souls begins.
Shut up. I hate when people say that.
I know.
It's the worst thing ever.
Everyone says that. Everyone's like, this is when you know that Dark Souls has really started.
What?
I know. But people, and they also say, like, this is a huge difficulty spike.
It's not.
I feel like they're pretty easy.
It's Maneater 2.0.
It's like, maybe it's because we actually defeated Maneater, so this is nothing.
Yeah, Maneater's like Satan compared to these guys.
I mean, at least these guys were programmed.
These guys are like
work
the crackheads you find behind like a shop.
I was like, they're not that hard. Anyway, that was my thought. I didn't think they were that difficult.
No, absolutely not. Cool. They're just like weaker, better programmed man-eaters.
Yes.
They're better programmed because they can't fly. They're not allowed to fly away.
Fly away into the distance. Fly away to Anor Londo.
They're cool though. They are iconic. It is not a difficulty spike.
I don't think so. Us. Maybe it's because we've already played through a couple other games, but I bet, if you hadn't ever played one of these games, I could see it being a big difficulty spike.
Something you learn in Souls games is that you have to be pretty aggressive. Because if you, try to like, I need to get my perfect timing on hitting this guy, the second gargoyle is going to spawn in like 45 seconds. And then it's like, okay, I can see it now. You have two full, they have both health bars to the max and they're both after you and they're breathing fire on you now. I can see that being frustrating.
Yeah.
But if you just aggro a little bit, cut the tails, just go to the left. That's the rule of thumb in Dark Souls or any Souls game is just, shimmy to the left.
Strafe on over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm cool with you. I don't think they're that. And I played through half the game on New Game Plus. Oh yeah, because that's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
So I beat the game by accident, not knowing the game would automatically throw you into New Game Plus. Anyways, I beat it before doing the DLC. I didn't mean to. I thought that after I killed Gwen, I could just go do the DLC.
You would think.
Not correct. Anyway, so I had to do everything again up through Ornstein and Smo, of course, and then I could do the DLC on New Game Plus.
Yes.
Anyway, I beat the Bell Gargoyles. I think they were like 3-hit kills in my New Game Plus run.
Yeah, I started a new game as well. I was waiting for Josh to come over to. I forgot what we were gonna do. I think it was planning the episodes out for the next month or two. And I was like, okay, I'll start a New Game Plus of Dark Souls, and I'll see how far I can get. And I seriously, within like 45 minutes to an hour, I almost got to the second Bell of Awakening.
And that's what I meant earlier by it being easy.
Yeah.
It's just once you know what to do, it's just not hard. Like when I got to Quelaag within an hour and a half, starting that second New Game Plus playthrough, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
This game is easy.
It's just the way it goes.
Just get good.
Yeah, those are the gargoyles.
I think they're
iconic.
They're iconic. That's a very good word for it.
They're not necessarily like, I don't care what people say. They're not necessarily hard. They are striking.
Because they hit you.
And it's always that.
Sorry.
Yeah. They teach you to hit tail all the time.
Always get that tail.
Tails will give you weapons. And it just surprises players with the second gargoyle that appears and starts breathing fire.
It would have been a bigger deal if we were doing this 7 years ago or 10 years ago, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, I'm with you.
Crying and
gnashing of teeth, as it were.
And I'm kind of doing this in the order I played it. I think it's a pretty it's like standard. Like I think this is the way you have to do it, but whatever.
You're a baby.
So we go to the Moonlight Butterfly and the Darkroot Garden. Fun little lore tidbit. I forgot to mention Saith the Scaleless
Oh, Seath. Yes.
Yeah, Seath the Scaleless in our intro. He is a scaleless dragon that betrayed his brothers and sisters and killed them.
Hence the name.
Yes. He created the Moonlight Butterfly.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That makes sense because they're all over his crystal cave.
That's right. Which we'll get into that. we'll get into that. Moonlight Butterfly. It's kind of a time waster.
Yeah.
Optional, completely optional. It's just to get the ember, right? And
yeah.
Well, I guess, and it's like
really
to
not
get
optional.
a key if you want to get to, like, what is it called? The depths faster.
Oh, really? There's
Or
a key for the depths there.
maybe the berg.
Heck, I have
It's
no
to the
clue.
berg into the depths is like it's a shortcut.
Oh,
So you can do it. That's the way I always do it.
that's so interesting. It just is the mystery key, not the mystery key. What's it called? Master key.
No, it's the T. It's the key for the watchtower where Solaire is.
The basement key.
Yeah.
I feel like you get
Not
the
the
basement
basement
key
key.
from like 1,000 other places, or the watchtower key.
Yeah. Yeah, probably you do.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
But I kill the Moonlight Butterfly usually just for the souls. Like if I'm
Yeah.
passing by, just go get a quick
Why not? Go
10,000.
kill him. Bosses takes a long time, not because of how hard it is, but because it keeps flying away. So if you're a melee build, it can take some time, but you can summon a mage to come shoot her for you.
Thanks, Beatrice.
Yeah. But if you have magic or if you have strong dexterity with arrows and bow, it's pretty easy peasy.
It's alright.
It's just annoying that it doesn't land more.
It
like-
just...
I understand because then like the boss would be dead in 2 seconds, but
It's a frustrating boss. It just seems... It's one of those things that just doesn't seem very well designed. Right? It was obviously made with sorcerers in mind.
with Beatrice in mind,
Yeah.
like straight up.
Well, the thing is, they wouldn't have had to add Beatrice if it wasn't designed badly, right?
Yeah.
So it just is a weird boss where like they should have done something to fix it. And later they have a quote unquote flying boss that they do a really good job with, which I don't think you didn't fight Calamite, did you?
I have before, not for this playthrough.
Well, I think Calamite's an example of a boss which flies, but which
Does it in
in a
way.
much better way.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I think there's a lot of things they could have done with this. Anyways, excuse me.
No, that's fine. I mean, Moonlight Butterfly is it's Moonlight Butterfly.
Mediocre.
Totally optional, mediocre.
I like the music. I think it looks pretty. I like that you're on
Yeah.
this bridge, and you have to
Fighting on
dodge.
bridges is fun, apparently.
Bridges are dope. I also think, sorry, I'm just dominating this,
No, please.
but Gwendolyn gets a lot of crap. I personally really like Gwendolyn's boss fight. I think it's cool. And to me, it's a much better version of this because it's a much more active version of the fight.
Gwendolyn?
Yeah. Dark Sun Gwendolyn?
Yeah.
Where you're dodging magic.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because that's the point of the Moonlight
Yeah.
Butterfly, right? You're just dodging its magic, but it's slow and boring. Whereas I feel like Gwendolyn, there's a real
It's pretty
sense of
fast-paced.
urgency. And I think it's a much better version of this.
Of this type of dodging until you're able to fight, yeah.
And I personally like that battle, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We're not too far off from Dark Sun Gwendolyn.
I'm reining my horses in.
You
I'm
better.
putting them in the stables.
And then we get to the Berg with the Capra Demon, which is
Undead Berg.
is a boss, I guess. The boss is really the dogs.
Yes. The gank dogs.
And then it's just what it is. It reminds me of the enemies in Hellblade.
Oh, yeah. He is a ton like that.
Yeah.
I feel like they just put a picture of the Capra Demon on the wall. In like, what's the studio called? Ninja something? Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory, yeah.
Yeah, that's just on the wall in Ninja Theory's offices, and bada bing, bada boom.
There's two Ninja. There's Ninja Theory and then
The other one.
Team Ninja.
Yes, I don't know which is which.
I think Team Ninja is the one who makes Neo, and Ninja Theory is Hellblade. I could be totally wrong.
Ninja Theory,
cares?
come on the show.
But yeah, Capra Demon sucks.
It's a pretty bad boss.
I mean, totally optional again. Literally gives you nothing. It's just a boss. It's a fog gate into a dead end.
yeah, it's a key to the depths, but
Oh yeah, I
But
guess.
like, just you have the master key.
Yeah.
So I think the master key opens that door.
I think
And if not, there's other ways to
there's
get into
other
the
ways
depths.
of getting to the depths.
And
Yeah.
the depths is totally optional.
Yes.
So
So yeah, Capra Demon. And then we get to the depths with the Gaping Dragon.
I love the gaping dragon.
I have a little bit of lore tidbit for you.
Ooh.
He's a distant relative of the everlasting dragons. And he turned this way because of the Bed of Chaos after Izalith tried rekindling the fire.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. Because the Bed of Chaos, or the Witch of Izalith, she created all demons in the world, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because I think this is 1,000 years after Gwen rekindled the flame.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why like all these demons are about. And there's a lot of environmental storytelling and a lot of storytelling with where the enemies are placed within the world. Like Seath, he's in the search for everlasting life because he's jealous of the dragons who had everlasting life and whatnot. Or he was jealous of the other gods like Gwen and the Witch of Izalith. And so he would send out those mages, those channelers out to spy on the other lords.
That's cool.
And then he would have the channelers snatch up like maidens to take back to his Duke archives to like perform experiments on them.
Dang Seath.
So yeah, it's cool stuff. And all that means, let's talk about the Gaping Dragon. With all that being said,
I really like the Gaping Dragon.
you do. I remember you telling me this.
It's very Bloodborne, but also very Dark Souls. You know, I just it's like it's from this game.
Sorry,
No,
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a very good point. Even in its own game and other games, there are very like there are certain bosses that are like, oh, whatever. And then there's like, this is a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah.
This is a From Software boss. So go on. I totally agree.
I totally agree with myself. But like, you would never see this character design in any other video game.
I love his introduction.
I know.
The little alligator head
guy.
or whatever. He's just like looking around and then looking around.
Looking around. This giant tooth thing. I love it, dude. He's
It's a cool design.
He got one of my favorite designs in the game. I really, really, really like the Gaping Dragon. Very easy though.
Yeah.
I wonder what they could have done to make it a little bit more difficult yet predictable. But I really like this boss, and yeah, I don't know what there's to say about it. I do really appreciate that there's so many areas in this game that you never even have to see. Like, I can't imagine being a game designer and then putting in
something that most people won't even look at.
Yeah.
And not just like a room, but like an entire area that's off the beaten path.
Yeah. With some of the best bosses, you know what I mean? Well, you have Ash Lake, you have this, a lot of Darkroot Garden, Valley of the Drakes.
There's tons of areas in this game that don't need to be seen, but they make up most of the game.
It's insane. It's really interesting. And so I think that's a really respectable thing they did. But yeah, I love just the design and the feeling of the fight, because it's one of the most Dark Soulsy bosses, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, Gaping Dragon. You know, he was probably the first time where, back in my original playthrough, and even through this one, where I was like, this one, I'm not having to like think hard about it, but it's like, this is the first one I have to kind of think about, kind of watch what he's doing. Because he'll hit you really hard if he does hit you. Or if he grabs you, he will... I think it's an insta-kill if he grabs you. I could be wrong, though. That could have been my health, because maybe I was a little under-leveled for the fight, but...
When he does his big jump attack, I think that's pretty much a one-hit kill.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a great design. And so yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it is one of the first bosses where you actually have to learn their moves.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has specific things he does. Whereas with Taurus Demon, Capra Demon, Asylum Demon, all the demons.
Yeah.
They just kind of do stuff. They just kind of swing. Whereas this one, it's like...
This one, you can't even touch him.
Yes.
You will get hurt. He's like a Mega Man boss.
He is like a Mega Man boss.
You will... Yeah, like that's something you just have to get used to, is keeping your distance, because you're either going to get stepped on, not like as an attack, just stepped on. It's like your first big boss that can just like run you over.
I think that's true. I mean, this is the first boss that tramples. You know? It is really cool. And I think that a lot of that's lost on me just since I played Bloodborne. You know, Bloodborne, it's funny because this game, everyone's like, nice variety. Dark Souls 2, there's too many humanoid people. And Bloodborne was like, okay, no humans at all. Like, only giant beasts.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that because that was my first game, like fighting this guy, it's like, yeah, this is like a cleric beast, but easy, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. Just look at
that's all I got.
Looking at my rankings really quick. Yeah, Gaping Dragon, good job. And then we get into the Blighttown area, which is infamous.
For some reason.
I love Blighttown.
Oh, hello.
Like it reminds me so much of, it's like two things. It's
Denver, Colorado.
it's like what's the place called in Demon Souls?
I know what you're talking about. The gross slummy place that's Blighttown.
The slimy place. That's gonna really bother me that I don't remember.
Oh, I'll look it up.
Okay. It's been a long time, but it's like the last shrine in Demon Souls, where it's very much like Blighttown, where you kill the Wados.
The Wados. Valley of Defilement.
Valley of Defilement. So it's...
And Swamp of Sorrow.
Thank you. It's like the Valley of Defilement and kind of mixed with the
gutter in Dark Souls 2.
No. You idiot.
Everyone loves the gutter.
I was thinking it was a mixture between that and the...
Just tap my armrest with
the blacksmith area in Demon Souls. Where you like go down, there's the lava, and you're going towards the fire demon or whatever.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's, for me, it's like those...
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's like those two areas combined, where it's like you have to go downhill, but it's also Valley of Defilement.
Yeah.
Where you just have to like find your way through all this crap.
I felt like it was easier than Valley of Defilement, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why... You know, I think the reason it's so infamous is because of how badly optimized it was when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it still
chugged.
retains that.
That's what happened, right? It
would drop
the
like
frame rate
so they're like 10 frames.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
That would make the experience just horrendous. But
for the most part, like, I can speedrun this area now. Like, I know where it's safe to jump and like skip 2 floors, you know, and stuff like that. It's a neat learning curve that makes you think outside of the box a bit more for me. And the enemies are still trash. It has the little red demon dogs that they're like turning the wheels for the elevators. I don't know if you noticed that, like the giant wheels. It's like this tiny little red dog just walking. I thought it was like a joke or something. But
that's
no.
Awesome.
I
didn't even notice that.
It was very funny. But yeah, I think every poison area in any Souls game turns out to be people's like least favorite. Unsurprising. Like, I understand. But I like Blighttown because, I mean, it's a nice hub to like more interesting areas in the game. But you know, it was a learning curve for me then, and it still is now. like playing through it again, I had to kind of remember how to do certain things, and it's kind of like the first hard area. I mean, you may have already been challenged by everything else, which makes sense because it's a challenging game for your first time, but this is like, whoa. Whoa. Hold it there. But we get to the Chaos Witch Quelaag, who is the guardian of the second Bell of Awakening and the guardian of her sister, which is why she fights you.
Was that true?
Yeah, she doesn't want you to get to the sister.
Well, I did.
So it's kind of like the boss in Demon Souls, where it's like she's a good character, but she's just you still have to kill her.
You gotta murder her.
She has the right intentions, and the Chaos Witch is one of the daughters of the Witch of Izalith. I think she had 7 daughters or 7 kids. I think there's 1 son actually.
I think he's Ceaseless Discharge.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, she's protecting the Fair Lady. But how do you feel about Chaos Witch Quelaag?
She's fine. That's all I got. She needs to find a shirt. No. I think she's a fine boss. She reminds me again of Bloodborne, but maybe I just say that whenever I find a beast boss. I think she has a really cool moveset. I like that she makes you focus on positioning, I think, for the first time. She has the lava, which kind of locks off areas. If you're in front of her, she uses her sword a bunch. If you're behind her, she does her butt slam, which is that giant AoE, which one-shots you 90% of the time. I think she's a really cool boss.
Yeah.
She's got such a distinct aesthetic,
Yeah.
Whether or not like you're with it. I think it's iconic.
It reminds me of Enemies in Oblivion.
Huh, yeah.
There's like the ladies who are half spiders.
Yes.
Chaos Witch Quelaag is...
I think she has a really cool moveset that advances the mechanics of the game.
There are definitely
subtly.
Bosses in later Souls games that take from Quelaag that implement it much better.
Interesting.
Was it you that was sitting next to me while I was fighting with I summoned someone just for fun?
No.
That could have been Jarrett.
I think it was Jarrett.
I was just doing it for fun, and I had I think it was New Game Plus still, or it was with our Ryan Reynolds character that we made just to play through the game. And I summoned Maneater, the lady with the cleaver that invades you.
Mildred.
And she got blocked off from the lava, but she kept rolling into the lava, and she killed herself.
Darn it, Mildred.
It's like I summoned someone and they were completely useless the entire fight.
That's awesome.
they just didn't know what to do.
She zoned you out, man.
She did. But yeah, Quelaag's cool. Design is cool. That it's another thing where I think the design for someone like Quelaag is implemented better in later games. That half person, half beast type of thing. So yeah, she's cool.
Her spider half is not very spidery.
No, you don't. I feel more beetle.
Yeah.
Or just bug. I don't think spider.
It's got too many eyes. I kind of wish it was more of a sleek spider.
Oh.
You know what I mean? More Black Widowy, a little bit more spindly, perhaps.
Yeah.
I wish you could like break its legs and like advance the battle.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like there's things like that, which I think they do a lot better in later games, where you can alter the fight. I think, granted, you see some of that in like Iron Golem, and you see it even earlier in Tower Knight. But I think it'd be interesting if you changed her moveset by chopping off legs. Like maybe she starts doing a rolling attack. Anyways, it's interesting. Also, why can't they design a spider to look good?
I don't know.
Right? Like they got this, and they've got the awful, hardly a spider in Bloodborne.
Armored Spider was great though. It looked like a spider.
It did look like a spider, even though it does not.
It even
act
acted like a spider.
Does it? It like shoots fire out of its face.
Yeah, you never had a spider do that to you.
It's a California thing, I guess.
So yeah, Quelaag's cool. Fair Lady
Dead.
Better, like, I love the Fair Lady's design way more than Quelaag's.
Interesting.
Even though she's like just stuck in the wall, I think that was pretty cool.
I think she's cool.
Another thing with her is, like, it's really sad. She's a mute, but like if you get a ring, you can talk to her.
Oh.
And it's so sad because she can't see, obviously.
She thinks you're Quelaag, right?
Yeah, she thinks you're Quelaag, and she just wants Quelaag to know that she's happy, even though the Fair Lady's like dying on the inside. She's like, her mom caused all this to happen and forced her to be like this half spider stuck in a wall. It's so sad.
You put her out.
But yeah, you kill her.
You murder her for her soul.
You just take a giant great sword or cleaver. You just chop her in the face.
Treat her like the spider she is.
Yeah, kill everyone to get those
tasty souls.
Tasty souls.
You crush in the palm of your hand.
But yeah, we get into Sin's Fortress after this. You have tolled the bells of awakening.
Bells?
Tolled. And now the gates to Sin's Fortress has opened.
And now the crybabies come out of the woodwork. Sin's Fortress is hard.
And like, also we've met some cool characters, you know, Solaire. We met the blacksmith, who I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And then you got
the pyromancer, perhaps.
He's cool. Pyromancer is cool. The guy who sells you the curse bite rings or whatever.
Yes.
He's after Gargoyle.
Oh yeah,
that
the
weird guy
who
who,
your sins.
Yeah. And then
he's T-posing in the basement.
Yes. And then you got like Sigmar of Katarina. The Onion Knight. He's great. But yeah, you get into Sin's Fortress.
I don't mean to offend people, but just everyone always told me how hard this area is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's that bad.
It's frustrating if you just don't be patient with it. You just gotta be patient, guys.
And I feel like it's pretty fair. Like, I think most of the traps are pretty well telegraphed. Like, if you've seen Indiana Jones,
you know what's coming.
You know, like, don't step on the obvious
pressure plate.
Yeah. You know? Anyways, that's how I felt. It's like, it seems pretty fair to me.
For sure. Absolutely.
People always say this is like an artificially difficult place.
No.
I never felt like
there's
that.
Artificial difficulty later in this game and other games. This is not artificial difficulty.
I feel like any challenge is telegraphed, and it makes sense that it would be like this.
This is like the equivalent of Crash Bandicoot.
It is literally Crash Bandicoot. Like, I think it's fun. I think it's a cool area.
It's fun. You kill the stupid snake guys.
I love the snake guys. I think they're hilarious.
They're so funny looking. They look so derpy.
I love the way they like look at you.
Yeah. So that's fun. I usually I let the traps kill them, you know.
You're that kind
I'll
of guy.
hold the shield out in front of a door so they can't get in while the boulder's coming.
Sadist. Trying to hurt people.
And then you got like the other golems that are around, or the giants. I don't even know what they are.
They're just Gao's friends.
Yeah, they're just big boys.
Big junkers.
Big honkas. Yeah, Sin's Fortress is cool. I actually really like Sin's Fortress. And I like how there's just a ton of Titanite demons in the bottom.
So I will say, the first time you go through the area, it is kind of hard.
A little bit.
It's a little bit like hell. Yeah. Like, I remember the first time I survived falling into the pit and like walking around corners and there's like 15 Titanite demons. It's just like ridiculous. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But once you know the area, you're in and out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy. Like, it's one of the easiest areas to run through.
Oh, for sure. You can just zoom.
Yeah, you're just done. I mean, all the enemies kill themselves trying to follow you on traps.
Exactly.
And then you get a bonfire in a really convenient place. The only convenient bonfire in the game. And then you just bada bing, bada boom.
The trick is not to go too fast. It's weird to say, to speedrun it. It's to let the traps do their thing.
Yeah. And
to let Sin's Fortress kill all the enemies for you. In a weird way.
Who's it named after? Who's Sen?
So I was actually just about to bring this up.
Wow.
So
Look
there
at
are
that Sen
there are
Grey.
theories. So you got Gwen, you know.
Which makes sense because he
Or
doesn't want you to
Cinder.
get to enter Londo.
Yeah. And Sen's Fortress is the trial before getting into the City of the Gods,
Yes.
technically.
So it makes sense that it would be,
hmm
Gwen because he doesn't want you to be there.
So you got Gwen, Papa.
Papa Gwen,
You got Guinevere, the daughter.
who is dead.
Yeah, we'll
Isn't
get.
she an illusion?
She is an illusion, created by Dark Sun Gwendolyn. I mean, she's a real person.
Yes.
But there are
Amazing
other things
chest
where
ahead.
she ran off with Ornstein and
What?
that thing.
Hello.
Or maybe even Seath. So, yeah.
Oh wait, she did get with Seath because that's where Priscilla comes from.
Yeah. They're gods. I mean,
It's fine.
it's fine.
It's not bestiality if you're a god.
Yeah. And then,
Just kidding. We do not condone bestiality.
yes, please, jeez. Please. During the Great War with the dragons, you had Seath the Scaleless who betrayed the dragons, but then you had the Nameless King who lost his name because he sided with the dragons.
Oh,
So-
wasn't this Dark Souls 3 stuff?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Nameless King is in Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really know who that is,
Yeah.
especially in this game. Spoiler.
Spoiler
After
alert.
7 years. So he is the god of war.
Kratos?
He is Kratos. So there is an idea that, he is the god of war and he's this nameless king and no one knows who Sin is. But it's this fortress that is the trial to get into Honor Londo. So there is some speculation that Sin is the name.
Interesting.
There's a couple other. I think there's one more standout name that might be right. I don't personally believe it. I think it is Sin. It just makes the most sense, especially for Dark Souls 1,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 kind of. But it's cool. That there's a whole story where the Nameless King or Sin, I'll just call him Sin for now. His name and everything that he did for the gods was taken away from him from his dad. And
Who was his dad?
Gwen.
Why would he? But why would he build
Because-
Sen's Fortress if he sided with the dragons?
So the other thing is the fortress was built beforehand probably, but then when Sin sided, Sin left with a dragon.
So Anor Londo was built before they killed the dragons?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought they did all that after they killed the dragons.
Or maybe not. No, I think it is afterwards. But there's still dragons about, kind of.
Yeah.
Even though they killed all of them.
Yeah.
But I think Sin kept one to himself and he left to Dragon's Peak
I see.
in Dark Souls 3. And the fortress was still there and it's still called Sin's Fortress. So it is what everyone in the land knew it as Sin's Fortress.
Yeah.
So why would they change it?
Interesting.
You can't take away that, really.
You can't take it away.
But that's a whole story where Ornstein left to go after the Nameless King. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that is going on.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
I didn't know Ornstein actually had a story really outside of him and Smo.
Yeah, there's actually a lot. I have more notes on Ornstein and Smo on my pages when we get there. But
Exciting.
but yeah, Iron Golem, whatever. You kill his buddy. Who are these people?
So many people coming to your door.
people.
I think Iron Golem is one of the most boring bosses.
Yeah, he's really easy.
He's awful Tower Knight, I mean, he hits hard. His grab is kind of interesting, but it can throw you off and it's annoying.
And it sucks if you don't kill his friend who's
Yeah.
throwing the fire bombs at you.
Oh, I didn't even know. I just always go
You-
through every
you just
level and kill
them.
everybody.
Yeah. If you don't kill that guy, constant
Wow.
barrages of fire.
That would be really annoying.
They're like huge AoEs. It's terrible. Yeah, he's easy. I don't know what else to say about Iron Golem.
He's sad. You know,
he is sad.
I want him to be better than he is.
He's also alone, kind of. He's
a lonely guy. I wish he was quicker. I don't know. I mean, he's mediocre. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
We move on.
But it's cool. Like, lore-wise, it's cool. He's the last trial to Londo, so he has to be some sort of a big deal, kind of. I mean, they could have done a lot of better things.
He could be Sen.
I guess he could be.
You know, just having hollowed at this point.
Yeah.
In a way.
That could be a good point, yeah. I don't know about that. And then you get taken away by the Batwing demons.
I hate those guys. They're so ugly.
You get taken to Londo, everyone.
And then your life changes.
And then you see plastic.
That's right. The plastic city.
Londo is what it is.
Do you love Londo?
No. I like...
You blasphemer!
Satan! I like Londo for a myriad of reasons, and most of it is lore. I think it's just... I love the layout of Dark Souls. You start at the Firelink Shrine, and it's like you can go deeper down to the depths where the King of the Dead is, you know, and there's like some sort of hierarchy to all of this.
Yeah.
And the higher you go, you get to the City of the Gods. And that is just really cool. And everything, like, whether it's on purpose or not, but everything in Londo is pristine. It's clean. It's perfect. Nothing wrong with it. The sun is shining on Londo. Albeit it's an illusion. But even that makes it all the more, like, brilliant. You know, it's blinding almost how bright the sun is. And how bright the city is. And that's just really that's really cool. It's really profound. It's like just what you would imagine, but then you still see these demons around, so it's kind of like, you know, something's wrong. It doesn't feel like these things are the citizens of Londo.
And it's like, it's too clean. It's too perfect.
It's too perfect.
Can I tell you something,
please,
that I really wish had been a thing in Londo? I really wish there were 2 ways in. Yeah,
there's only the one way.
I wish that you could go in through the depths. And like you could go in through like the sewers or something. Like, I get that there's like the trial of Sen's Fortress. But I think it'd be interesting if there was some, you know, subterfugal back way that you can get in, and that kind of reveals the dark underbelly.
Like a manhole that you can like come out in the streets.
Yeah, like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Something like that. I think it would be really interesting. Or like, and then it comes up into like, I don't know, some torture chamber area that's hidden inside Londo.
Or maybe like through the Darkroot Garden, going up the side of the cliffs or into the mountain. That would be cool. It would be nice, because this area feels, and I get there's reason for this, but it feels so disconnected. The starting area of Londo? Yeah. It doesn't feel like you're... I mean, technically you're on like the wall of Londo, but still I understand what you're saying, where it's like it doesn't feel like you're in Londo until you get down into Londo. Plus, like, that makes sense. The rest of the game feels so connected. Like, it's all part of one world. And I get that it's otherworldly, and I get that it's almost this other realm, but it's not. Yeah. And that's part of what makes the symbolism interesting, right? Is that there's this illusory, beautiful city high in the clouds, but really it's nothing more, right? Like the gods are this illusory, beautiful thing high up that we hold in high regard, when in reality they're mortals just like us. And he too will just become cinder, right? Yeah. So I think it would have been interesting if they had like an actual physical connection to the rest of the world, where you could get in and see it from like the mortal perspective. I just think that would have been interesting. Yeah, and it's at this point that the world just becomes totally disconnected. But that is sad. I think that is on purpose, though. But I think it's a bad decision, even if it was a decision and it was on purpose. I don't think it was the right decision. You know what I mean? So, but that's how I feel. Okay.
Because they can easily get that symbolism in without literally doing that. I think it's because the game was rushed.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I think it was rushed.
Yeah, there was a lot of publisher pressure.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense. It was only, a year later after Demon Souls?
Yeah, and I think that they had some really great progress, but once you get to the point in the game where you're supposed to get the Lord Souls, that interconnected nature that is such a huge part of the beginning of the game is kind of lost to an extent. And a lot of people speculate that that's because at that point in development, that's when they were really, given the news that they need to speed up.
That's too bad.
I don't think it takes away that much from the game.
No.
But I wish it was more connected.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's just something I had in mind.
I like it. I like that thought. It's interesting though that that Seath is connected so much with Londo. But I guess that makes sense because he was granted dukedom.
Mm-hmm. Dukedom.
After he betrayed the other dragons and after they won, the gods have won the war. He was almost seen as an equal in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get into the big boys, the bosses that people say are the hardest boss in the game.
O and S.
Dragon Slayer Ornstein and Executioner Smo.
So
we'll get into a little bit of something here. So Ornstein is the captain of the Four Knights of Gwyn, alongside Artorias, Gao,
yeah,
Gao,
the Dragon Slayer.
And then Ciaran? How do you pronounce her name?
I don't know.
Ciaran?
She's supposed to be Artorias' lover. Right?
Yeah. She's kind of like the rogue of the group. And he was left, Ornstein was left behind with Smo to protect the cathedral with Guinevere and stuff. All of it's an illusion, though, by Darkson Gwendolyn. Ornstein had already left to go after the Nameless King. Or it's like either he left to go after the king or he went away with Guinevere to be married, I guess. Smo is an interesting character. He was never knighted by Gwyn because he started to eat the bones of his enemies. He would mash them up with his hammer and eat it. Tasty treats for Smo.
What a bad boy.
He's a bad boy. He's a scary boy.
He's very scary.
Yeah.
I hate his breathing.
Yeah. But tell me about Ornstein and Smo.
You won't respect me after this.
That's fine.
I didn't beat them solo. I always summoned Solaire. It didn't even cross my mind. It's one of those things where I think I tried it solo a couple times and I was like, I'm not dealing with this crap. I'm not.
I don't disrespect you for that.
I am sure a million people just unsubscribed. No,
it's a part of the game, guys.
I don't know if I love this boss. I love their design so much. I just think they look so good. They look so cool. I feel like I wish you fought Smo beforehand in some sort of mini boss. I know this wouldn't work and this isn't how the game works.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I had practiced fighting each of them individually and then fighting them. Because I just had the hardest time dodging a couple attacks. His hammer charge. I just couldn't get it. It didn't make sense to me.
It's a tough one.
But yeah, I don't know. I think they're a good boss. They're a gank boss. I think they're a very annoying boss. But it feels very satisfying when you kill them.
Yeah, it is very satisfying. And I don't knock you for summoning anybody for any boss. I mean, it got funny moments like with Maneater who killed herself. I mean, and it's a part of the game. I think they pick out certain characters for certain bosses that make sense for the story in some fashion. Sometimes you just need that little bit of help. Not even help because they don't do damage. It's just a distraction.
Exactly.
So you can learn the moves and whatnot.
Yeah, it's I I don't know. It's interesting. I'm trying to figure out like how I felt about it. Because there were other bosses that were really difficult, like Manus, like Artorias, like Calamite. You know, these bosses that I think universally everyone thinks are some of the hardest bosses in the game, right? But I soloed them, and it wasn't necessarily a problem. It was just learning their moves and getting the skill. With Ornstein Small, it just didn't feel as hard as it just felt annoying and frustrating. I get that no one agrees. I get that people hold it up as like an international symbol of perfection in like boss fights or whatever. But I don't find it that compelling. I get that they're different. I get that they complement each other's styles. I understand. You know what I mean? But I feel like instead of testing my ability to fight and my ability to like strategize, it's just more testing my patience. You know, it's like, how willing are you to wait to get an attack in? And like, that's useful. I get that that's like a quote unquote skill. I just found it to be tedious and annoying to do it the solo way. But you know, teach their own. I don't think it's as good a boss as everyone else does, seemingly, but I think they have a great design, and I love that. So
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense.
Sorry for messing around while you were talking. For some reason, my laptop wasn't charging while we were talking.
Weird.
Yeah, it's been going on this whole time. But
what do you think about that? What do you think about Ornstein Smo? Are you one of those people that has posters of them plastered on their ceiling?
No, I don't have that. I've always wanted to get an Ornstein statue.
Ooh, that'd be dope. You can get a cantaloupe and carve some boobs into it, and there you got a Smo statue.
Put a hammer in it.
An actual hammer. Sorry, Chris's parents are testing the door to see if it slams well.
But yeah.
Don't worry, it's okay. Chris is having an existential crisis.
I went into it and fought him once, and you know, I killed him my first try this run.
Look at you.
Not gonna lie, I felt pretty good about it, and it was pretty fast. But it's like I felt like I was better equipped for this run than I was previously. But yeah, they are kind of like a roadblock for... They were definitely a roadblock for me in my first playthrough. It definitely took me like 5 to 6 tries. The first time. So... I think they're a good learning curve, but it's also where the game starts cheesing you.
Yeah.
Instead of you cheesing it.
Do you feel like it's the perfect balanced fight?
Balanced? I mean, it's already unbalanced because there's 2 against 1. So, no. But there are, I think, a good idea of, or a good perfectly balanced boss fight is like with Artorias. I was thinking more Gascon or whatever his name is. Bloodborne.
Beauty and the Beast.
What's his name?
No one fights like Gaston. Sorry. I know what you're talking about. The wheelchair, the fake invalid, as it were.
No, the third boss.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the final boss of the game, Ghirardelli. Yeah. Father Ghirardelli, Gascon or whatever. It is like Gaston. I agree.
I felt like that was like it's tough, but it's because it's balanced. It's not like you can hit him just as easily as he can hit you. And it's not like something like the cleric beast where you can roll out of the way because he's so huge.
Yeah.
You know, because most of the time, if like a boss is bigger than you, you actually kind of have an advantage.
Yeah.
It's more telegraphed and stuff like that. But I like Ornstein Smo. They're not perfect. But I don't think they're as hard as everyone says they are, and I also don't think they're as great as everyone thinks they are. In a way.
You guys hear that?
You hear that?
Comment below how stupid.
I'm not holding any punches.
Along with your IQ you got.
But yeah. Now, I guess It's kind of weird to think that it's now Dark Sun Gwendolyn, who is an optional / secret boss. Kind of secret.
Kind of secret.
But you were talking to me before, or you were talking about him before. Actually, wait, I have something to tell you.
Oh.
It's Gwen's last born, so he's the youngest of all the kids. And due to his favor in magic and association with the moon, he was raised as a daughter.
That's right.
Just kind of weird. But it just kind of shows how terrible Gwen was.
Gwen was not a good dude.
Not a good dad.
Not a very good dad.
He also committed genocide on dragons. So
yeah, it's a little genocide.
But yeah, talk to me about Gwendolyn.
You know, I like Gwendolyn.
Great design.
People freaking hate Gwendolyn.
I don't get it.
I don't get why people
cool.
dislike it so much. I think his design's awesome. I love like the snakes coming out of his dress. Yeah. It's just like cool.
Yeah.
I think he looks awesome. I love his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way he talks to you, and I love his association with the darkness and the way the level changes once you kill him or before you kill him.
Yeah.
He's just a really cool boss. Yeah, I actually really like this boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool. I think it's a good example of a quote-unquote puzzle boss fight. I don't know if it is that, but it's not the same as all the other boss fights, right?
Yeah, you just have to kind of learn how everything is going.
Yeah, it's just a little dodgy thing. And I like it. You know, I really appreciate it. It kind of reminds me of Armor Spider, actually.
Yeah, kind of like running back and forth and learning the patterns of the casts and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And I like it. I like it more than Armor Spider. Chris's favorite boss from Demon's Souls.
I love Armored Spider.
But Gwendolyn's cool. I think he's awesome. Great design. I love the brass armor you get for killing him. It's like my favorite armor in the game, easily, hands down. But yeah, I think Gwendolyn's way better than people give him credit. I don't know why people hate him so much. Although there is one negative, and that's if you kill the Firekeeper before you fight Gwendolyn and you happen to die because his magic one-shots you. It'll send you all the way back to an unkindled bonfire that you can't warp from.
Yeah.
And it takes like 5 minutes to get back to Gwendolyn.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's painful. It's really, really annoying. So that's on Miyazaki, though. He just chose to be a huge jerk for no reason. Anyway, so that's a bizarre thing.
I agree.
But if you know what you're doing, it's pretty easy to kill him on your first try.
Yeah. Yeah, I love like if you shoot Guinevere in the face with an arrow, the illusion's over. Gwendolyn stops creating the sunlight basically, and it's nighttime in Londo, which is such a great little thing. Like
so
it's
cool,
such a good touch for them to put that in. It's brilliant, and then like. You see where Ornstein and Smo are just these like two bandits, like just people who are, I think they're followers of the Dark Moon cult or whatever.
I think so.
So yeah, it's
the
awesome.
Firekeeper on the bridge.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It's really cinematic.
Yeah, yeah, killing the Firekeeper for his soul is great.
That's awesome.
And then just because we're in Londo, we have the painted world of Ariamis, which is where Crossbreed Priscilla is kept a secret.
That's right. She
is cast away into this painting. She is the only crossbreed in Lordran, which is the continent that we're in, by the way. And she is the daughter of Seath and Guinevere. How do you feel about Ariamis?
Dude, this area feels like a DLC, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me a lot of Canehurst, actually. It feels like Canehurst Castle from Bloodborne.
From Bloodborne, yeah. Bloodborne.
Even though it's obviously doesn't look very much like Canehurst, it's just the feeling of being there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this miniature area. It's like this miniature game. It really reminded me of
It's like a world in a painting.
It's like a world in a painting. I don't know. It's cool. I like it a lot.
I always like these painted worlds.
Me too.
So yeah.
I think it's cool. It's fun. Killing her feels bad. You feel bad.
Yeah, you don't have to kill her.
That's true.
But you kill her.
But you do. So, really easy boss fight. Kind of an interesting idea. It felt a little frustrating.
Yeah. And I think like this whole area is not only the area for Priscilla and where she's kept, but it's also somehow connected with one of the gods in the lore. Vex, maybe? I forgot her name. She's not the Lord of the Dead, but she's something like that. Almost like a Grim Reaper type.
Ooh.
So it's cool. And it's nice. You see the phalanx.
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
Kind of again. Yeah, it is awesome. Great place to farm souls if you're ever in need of souls. And then you also fight a boy with the twirly hat. I forgot what it's called.
I did not fight him.
Oh, you didn't fight him? No, okay.
That's because I got out of there as fast as I could.
Yeah, because once you go in, you can't leave until you finish it. So that makes sense. And then figuring out how to get to Priscilla after killing the undead dragon.
I didn't do that.
How did you get to Priscilla then?
I just happened to go down the well first. And pulled the lever and then ran for my life and got killed by the worst enemy in the game. The roly-polies.
No, like...
And then there's just like a bridge that just opens up and you can just go.
Yeah.
You know, the most disturbing enemy is in this area, though.
The crow people?
Yeah, like the naked crow people.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy looking.
They send like shivers down my spine. Especially because whenever you encounter them, they just like fall out of the air onto the stairs in front of you.
Now, this whole area has like some interesting enemy designs, like it's a whole area of abominations, kind of.
And it's only this area. Like the phalanx is only there, the crow people only there.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
And then those like weird bubble people who blow up with like bleeding or curse,
which is a good enemy too. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Priscilla's a piece of cake though. Cool that she like goes invisible and. I like stuff like that.
Good for you, Priscilla.
Good for you. And then we're just gonna make our way down to the demon ruins, where we fight and face Ceaseless Discharge, the younger brother of the Daughters of Chaos, who is guarding one of his sister's graves.
There are too many bosses in this area.
Yes.
Get rid of 2 of them.
Yeah.
You don't need the Centipede Demon, Fire Sage, and Ceaseless Discharge.
Yeah, get rid of Fire Sage and Centipede for sure.
Oh, so you're a Ceaseless fan.
Just lore-wise. It's just, I like it. The thing is, I never fought him. He killed himself.
I cheesed him.
2 bosses killed themselves for me here.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So like, I honestly don't know how Ceaseless Discharge is.
I don't know, because I just knew that if I led him back to the fog gate, he would just fall off.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I did.
Yeah, he just falls off. And he like holds on, and then he falls. And then he dies.
Oh, sweet.
He just falls off the map.
Okay.
So
cool.
But I think that what you're supposed to do is bait him into hitting the ground, and then you hit his hand.
Nah.
But like, just make him fall off the edge. So
that's cool though. You can take the robes from the grave.
I did.
And I guess that's how you start the fight.
I guess that's true.
But those robes are what people wore during the Age of Fire and Ancients. So that's like what they would wear. It's kind of cool.
That's cool. I thought it was like a grave.
No.
Like one of his sisters.
What she was wearing. And then there's a Centipede Demon. He guards Lost Izalith, which is the area where the Bed of Chaos is, and he jumped into the ceiling from me and killed himself.
What?
He jumped into the ceiling and got stuck up there.
Dang.
And I'm sure he fell off some invisible wall and died.
You had all sorts of wild experiences in your playthrough.
But I've fought him like for real before, and he's really annoying if you don't have the ring to protect you from lava. He kind of reminds me of one of the bosses from Valley of Defilement in a way. Just in design, not so much in like what he's doing, because he's kind of all over the place.
Can I say something about this? I miss the gimmicks from Demon Souls.
Yeah.
No one agrees with me.
No,
but I kind of liked them.
It left an impression because it gave the bosses character.
Yeah, and this game really suffers, I think, where a lot of these bosses, to me, are just like such throwaways. Like, Centipede Demon. I don't care about the Centipede Demon. A Ceaseless Discharge is lava.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, it's cool because you know it's the brother, but, like, you don't.
Yeah, he's...
And Fire Sage is the third reskin of the same boss.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. I personally really appreciated most of the gimmicks from Demon Souls. Like the one where you have to get the bugs off with the flame. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I absolutely do. And it only gets worse, but...
Centipede Demon sucks, though.
Yeah, he does. And Demon Fire Sage, who cares?
It's when the AoE happens. It's just so annoying. That's the word for this boss. It's just annoying. It's just an annoying boss. It's not even hard.
You know, doesn't bother.
It happens.
So let's just skip Demon Fire Sage. We've talked about Stray Demon enough.
Very true.
Lost Izalith. We get to the Bed of Chaos. Her story is in a failed attempt to prolong the Age of Fire. The Witch of Izalith tried recreating the first flame itself. But it failed, and it created all the demons in the world, and it destroyed her family, her daughters. 7 daughters. There's Quelaag, the Fair Lady, Quelana, who's a pyromancer, Ceaseless Discharge. There's a corrupted daughter who can invade you, and then there's the 2 Bed Sisters, who are... You have to kill them in order to get to the actual queen or witch.
It's interesting that there's this motif of like a person, like a parent, trying to accumulate power and it destroying their family. You know, like you have the Witch of Izalith, you have Gwyn, whose pursuit of power corrupted and destroyed his children.
Yeah.
Obviously the witch, like I just said. And then there's like another one too. There's several families that are destroyed because someone... you know, can't stop themselves from trying to get more power. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting. But this boss, one of the easiest bosses. It's kind of, you just defeat the 2 sisters, and then the hardest part is rolling onto the branches.
Yes. To
get to the base of the Chaos Bed. Very much like the last boss in Demon Souls, where you have to like go through the branches, and
there's a lot like that.
You kind of just find this slug.
King of Wood.
I don't know what you have to say about Bed of Chaos. Is there anything to say about Bed of Chaos, really?
You know, I thought it'd be worse because of how much people complain about it. It's not a fun boss. I think they could have easily made it a more interesting boss.
It's an obstacle course, if anything.
Yeah, right. And a really frustrating one at that.
Yeah.
Just, man, those stupid whips. She really just in the run up is too long. Anyways, I was glad that I didn't die. I think I died once, maybe.
Yeah,
but
at least it saved your progress. If you die, you don't have to do it again. It all saves, so that's good.
And I just quit out of the game every time I killed one. So it just put me back in front of the door.
Look at you.
And then I could just go in and do the other one, quit out, and then do the other one because it doesn't add.
That's a underrated tool in Dark Souls.
Cheating.
Yeah, that's the Bed of Chaos. That's your, at least in this writing, the first Lord Soul that you get. You have to collect all 4 to get to Gwyn.
And that concludes probably easily the worst sequence in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I would say everything after you get the Lord Vessel takes a pretty big dip in quality. At least for me. Just everything becomes annoying. They're like, what can we do in this area to make the area worse? You know? Yeah. Put lava everywhere. And then make the lava not matter because you get a ring.
And then you can't see.
Right? Then just make it pitch dark. Oh, that's really fun. That's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard being blind. And then they're like, hey, you know, let's make it so you can't hurt the enemies. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And what's the last one? Seath's, the Duke's Archives. That was actually not too bad. No, Crystal Caves is retarded, though.
Yeah.
It's just a bad area.
We'll get into it.
Anyways, I think there's an obvious dip in quality.
And I think like maybe things get more irritating because you're able to fast travel now, so you have this like urge to speed through things because you know you can just fast travel. Mm-hmm. So you almost want to just get to the next bonfire. It's like, let me just get to the next one so I don't have to go through that again. Mm-hmm. So I understand. But let's just go straight into the catacombs.
Catacombs.
Where you fight the skellies and the necromancers and you meet patches.
You suffer.
Pinwheel's the first boss.
Yes, he is.
He is Gravelord Nito's lieutenant. He's a necromancer. He, to popular theory, was a family, a mother, a father, and a child. I like to think that the child died, and the necromancer, the father, tried reviving his son, but in a horrible failure, and maybe even because of the bed of chaos, it forged the three of them into one. This can be kind of, you can come upon this theory kind of with the masks themselves that you can earn by killing Pinwheel and his like duplicates, his like doppelgangers. But like the father's mask gives you
equip load,
which is kind of like he's holding up the family. He's carrying his dead family
back.
Yeah. The mother's mask, what does she do again?
Give you more health.
Yeah, more health. And then the child has more stamina, is the energy of a child. So that's, Pinwheel's very cool in that way. He is a pushover of a boss, but besides that, he's cool. You can like kind of like when you jump into the giant casket, which he basically resides in. Mm-hmm. It's a tomb. You can almost tell that he's trying to reverse it.
Yeah,
at his table,
like studying.
But you prevent him from doing that, which kind of sucks.
I like him. I think he's really cool.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite bosses lore wise because it's just really sad, and you can see all the books are everywhere, and he's
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like he's just trying to get his family back. Have you seen the Vadi video on him?
No, I have. I mean, I probably have years ago, but
the video. No, it's good. He talks about how he thinks that he stole something from Nito, and Nito doesn't actually know he's there. It's very interesting.
It could make sense. Isn't he in the casket though, in Nito's grave, like in his boss fight? Isn't Pinwheel in there?
Ooh, I don't know.
I could have sworn Pinwheel's like in Nito's grave.
I don't know. He might be. You should watch it afterwards.
No, I will.
And it's also been a month since I watched it, so
I
probably don't remember it.
Funny enough, didn't watch any Vadi for this game because I have the compendium, and a lot of my studying was just from the items in the game.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I read a lot from the compendium.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah,
Miyazaki-san over here.
Felt pretty good about myself.
Sure.
But we get into the Tomb of the Giants where we fight Gravelord Nito, the first of the dead, Lord of Death. And he killed dragons with like a miasma.
Yes, a miasma of disease.
Yes. How do you feel about Nito?
Nito's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I think he's got a really cool design. I think he's a cool looking dude.
First Four Figures has like the coolest statue of Nito.
Oh, really?
He's huge. He's like a foot and a half or 2 feet tall.
We need that.
I know.
We need that for the table.
It's like $800. Let's do it.
Let's do it. If you guys subscribe to our Patreon, we'll get the Nito statue. No, I think he's really cool. I think the skeletons look like they're going to be more of a problem than they are. Mm-hmm. I would just kite them away and then go attack Nito for a couple times and then kite. And then, I thought it was a better thing of patience, personally, than like ONS. It was a good boss fight. Mm-hmm. Plus, he kills them all if you allow him to. I think people think he's harder than he is. He's not that bad.
Yeah. Especially if you stay in that back corner, those other skeletons, like the big ones, won't even come towards you.
Oh,
so really? If you let Nito come to you, you only get like maybe 3 or 4 little skeletons who are a lot faster than Nito. So if you just kill them fast enough, it's just you and Nito in that back corner. So yeah, when I first played Dark Souls, I think Nito was my favorite boss.
Really?
I don't know how I feel about that now. I need to look I haven't looked at my ranking for that. But no, he's a great boss, great design. He is a perfect visual of a Lord of Death.
Yes.
Like he is just a thing, like a amalgamation of skeletons, of like dead bodies cloaked in this black velvet silky fog. It's
cool.
He's very cool. And you can get his sword if you join his cult.
Oh, yes.
For $5 a month, you can get a sword of Nito.
If you join our Patreon, we will send you the sword of Nito. No, he's an interesting boss. I think he's cool.
Yeah, I like him. But enough of him.
Enough.
Let's get to the Duke's Archive with Seath the Scaleless.
More like Seath the Lamest.
Yeah, you got the Duke's Archive and the Crystal Caves. So here's a little bit about Seath. He was born without scales, unlike his brothers and sisters. So Seath joined the Four Lords to eradicate his own kind. Gwyn anointed Seath the title of Duke and gave him permission to build in archives to research the secrets of immortality. Gwyn also gave him a Lord Soul. And then after discovering the Primordial Crystal, Seath became paranoid the other lords would steal it from him. So that's why he sent out the channelers to kidnap fair maidens for his experiments. Ew. And so he did figure out immortality through this crystal. But it drove him mad. Very much so. This Seath is very much so like the old monk in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
This scholar who would do these crazy experiments and would try to figure out the secrets to immortality.
But I like the old monk a lot more.
Sadly, even though you just fight an NPC or you fight an invader. But yeah, Seath is I don't like Seath at all.
He's like the worst, right?
Like kind of, yeah, he kind of is. Kind of isn't.
There are a couple of things in this game where it just asks you to make logical leaps for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll talk about this later with the Four Kings. But with this, like, am I supposed to know that I should go to a crystal cave and that Seath will find me there? Like, how am I supposed to know that I shouldn't just keep going back to the boss room, right? Like, I knew not to because I've seen this game.
Can you go back to the boss room after you get killed for the first time?
Yeah, you can just go back over and over. That's the weird thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I could see someone just thinking, like, I'm just not doing it right.
Huh.
You know? And there's, like, you can just go back.
I don't know.
Like, it's really weird.
I see what you're saying. A part of me feels like, because I had no idea the first time I played it. So a part of me was like, okay, I died. I couldn't damage him.
And I didn't go back to my old bonfire.
And I didn't go to my old bonfire. I'm in this new location. This is supposed to happen.
And I did feel that way.
Okay. But I can also see it being like, where am I? Oh, I'll just go use my Lord Vessel and go somewhere else.
It's also just weird because why would I go to these random caves and be like, oh, I should crack that crystal?
Yeah.
Like, it's obvious you're supposed to hit it during the boss fight because it shows you.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. Narratively, it's like, why is my character going to this random cave?
Yeah.
Why am I walking on air? And then why is he here?
Yeah.
Why does breaking this crystal stop him? It just doesn't make any sense.
I guess. I mean, it is the Primordial Crystal. It's...
Oh, yeah. I should have known. That's the Primordial Crystal. But, you know, like, from a normal player's perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. A part of me is I'm a little upset about this boss because it's very confusing once you get to the crystal and then the cutscene happens and then you're facing the dragon at first. I always thought the crystal's behind him.
Me too. I ran around him to
You just have to turn around. It's stupid.
I very much agree.
Or let me break it before the fight happens.
Yes.
If if you're just going to spawn me right next to it in the first place, why even not let me do it? He should come after you after you've broken it, because he's afraid.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I also think... Never mind. Anyway, I agree, though.
His design is interesting. It's not like... There's a very big difference between dragons and like the wyverns or the drakes. It's wyverns, right? Wyverns?
I think wyverns and drakes are like the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah. These lesser dragons. It's very interesting, like how different they look. And then there's like the great dragons, and he has like 3 tentacles.
I kind of hate him, honestly.
Yeah.
I kind of really dislike Seath's design.
It's weird, but is that because like, did he turn this way because of Bed of Chaos? Did he turn this way because of the Primordial Crystal? Is it an experiment he did on himself?
Because like, it's not that he's not a traditional dragon. That's not why I don't like him, because I love the Gaping Dragon. Mm-hmm. Right? I just really don't like his design. I don't know why.
It's a little boring. It's kind of like, okay, he's a dragon with like hands and arms, and
it's weird in the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know? At least that's how I felt.
It's kind of like, oh, he's just a blue dragon.
He's just like a weird blue dragon that's also an octopus.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also clams. Is this underwater?
It's yeah, there's weird. The clams that are also in Ashen Lake are here. Yeah, it's very weird.
Not a fan, personally.
Yeah.
Really don't like Seath.
So we get past him, and now we're in the Darkroot Garden, because I think this is like just a good way to do it, so we're not going back and forth.
We talk about the Hydra as well. I don't know if that was on your list.
I didn't add him as a boss, no. But if you want to talk about the Hydras, I mean, there's 3 or 4 of them in the game.
I like them. I think they're cool.
They're neat.
They're neat.
Yeah.
I kind of wish one of them was a boss.
Yeah. One of them kind of is in Ashen Lake.
Mm.
It's the first one that I run into. I mean, you can obviously go Darkroot Garden and run into this one way sooner. And I think there's 2 in Darkroot Garden, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
So this is actually one of them is where you fight Calamite in Ulasil.
Oh.
So if you go to that same area, it's the same. So Great Grey Wolf Sith, Artorias' partner, when Artorias was swallowed by the Abyss, he threw out his great shield to protect Sith, who now waits over his grave. And this is how you also get the ring of Artorias, so that you can Abyss walk.
This is the only moment which for me like emotionally lives up to the hype. It just like breaks my heart.
That's really sad.
I know.
He's like, especially because you find him later in Ulasil.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. That's where it like really breaks my heart.
It's like, oh, he was a puppy then. He's like a regular looking dog, and now he's this giant wolf.
Oh, it's so sad.
How did the sword get bigger?
I don't know. Grew with the dog. Don't you know? It's just like the idea that like Artorias uses his like last energy to save the dog. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so sad, Chris. It's like heartbreaking. And then his arm's really broken. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It broke while he like threw the shield. It's very sad.
Can you imagine fighting Artorias when he could actually have a shield and an arm?
Having a great shield.
I would die.
But yeah, great. Sif is one. Yeah, just like you said, one of those bosses that lives up to the emotional hype, and I think it's a cool boss. It's such a great stage. It's like you have Artorias' grave there, and all of these like swords that you would have to just guess were people paying respect to him. Mm-hmm. So you know that he was like a really great knight. I'm getting emotional over Sif and Artorias. But no, it's a great boss fight, and actually I think if you go to Ulasil first, even though I think you can, mm-hmm. and then you like do the whole DLC, Sif will recognize you during the boss fight. It'll be a different cutscene where he looks at you weird because you're also wearing like the ring. You probably have the shield already. So yeah, it's a great boss fight. It's fantastic.
So sad.
It's definitely like one of the best parts of the game, for sure.
So sad. I love it though. I don't think it's a very hard boss.
No, it's not hard.
But it is one of those bosses that's like, that's a Dark Souls boss too.
Yeah.
It's a dog with a sword in its mouth.
Doing backflips and swinging.
Just
doing whirlwind attacks. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is great. But super easy. But then we go into the Abyss or New Londo. New Londo can be a pain in the butt.
A little pain in the tushy.
Personally, I really like New Londo. After you drain it.
Me too.
It's great. And I love the whole thing. So the four kings, or these four kings that were granted permission to make this city under everything, so New Londo, and they found the Abyss during this, and they were tempted by its power, and they created like the Dark Wraiths. They were tempted with the ability of Life Drain.
Ooh.
Which is what their Dark Wraiths use, those knights that are down there.
Yeah.
And in an attempt to prevent the Abyss, or prevent them from leaving, they were flooded in with the entire city of New Londo. And beforehand, you get the Lord Soul from them because they were granted the Lord Soul before all this happened.
Yeah.
But I love this area after it's flooded. The ghosts can go kill themselves again.
Oh my gosh,
I hate the ghosts. They're annoying.
And they're annoying in a bad way.
Yeah.
Not in a pleasant way.
It's like you can't wear a ring or use a certain weapon to kill them really fast. You have to like keep using the curse.
The transient curse.
Yeah, the transient curse. And like if that runs out during your attack, you're done for basically, because there'll be 8 of them surrounding you, they'll be attacking through walls and through the floor. This is where like I love how Demon Souls would allow you to aim where you were swinging. You can't do that in this game.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about New Londo first, or if you want to just go straight into the Four Kings.
I kind of want to talk about them a little bit. I like the area. I think it's very cool. Has some unique enemies that I really enjoy fighting. Kind of like Black Knights. But this is another one of those logical leaps that maybe I missed something in dialogue, but the fact that you need to go get the ring, like,
is spoken by 2 or 3 NPCs.
What did they say?
Deep into the dialogue.
Did they say you need to go get this ring in Darkroot Garden?
No, it doesn't. It's not specific like that. So there are a few of them who say like you need the ring of Artorias, or like you need the ring to go into the Abyss. My justification of this is because where you get the ring is in Darkroot Garden, which is so early on in the game. As a new player, as I once was, going into Darkroot Garden for the first time, being like, what's this door? And then going back to the blacksmith and seeing that he has an item that opens the door. So, you farm some souls for a bit, go open the door, and then you're into the boss fight immediately. So it's
Sif right there?
Huh?
Is Sif right
there?
Sif
is the first thing you run into.
See, I've never gone that way. I've never opened that door.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not going to waste 20,000 souls.
I guess it was a lot.
I guess there are just a couple things that prevent that for me. Like, when I saw the door, I don't think that I can buy the key. I figured eventually I would run into it as a drop. Because every other key you get in the game, you get as a drop, essentially, from a boss. And so I'm just waiting for that to drop eventually. And then I don't think I'm going to buy the Crest of Artorias from the blacksmith.
Yeah.
It just never occurred to me that he would have that.
Yeah.
Because what? Why would he have that?
Anyway,
I don't know. It's just...
It is one of those things where it's like, it demands you to look up something.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of that kind of stuff in this game.
I also wish someone said something explicit like, you can't walk the abyss, because they say no mortal can walk the abyss, but half the point of the game is you're not mortal.
You're hollow.
You're immortal. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. So it's like...
I understand. It is a real kick in the nuts when you figure out, like, even if you have the ring in your inventory that's not equipped and you just jump down and lose like 50,000 souls from, you know, previous bosses, killing drakes and stuff, or killing the dark wraiths. Yeah, it sucks.
I jumped down the hole the first time without the ring. And then I thought I just hadn't gone down low enough, so I went down to the bottom.
You just kill yourself again.
And jumped off again.
I went down from the very top, and I actually hit one of the stairs and died there.
Nice.
I wish they should have just made a circular stair.
Yeah.
You don't need the little brackets.
Little outcroppings to kill you on the way down, snag you.
But yeah, the Four Kings.
Probably one of the worst bosses in the game.
Really?
They're not... There's no quote-unquote skill involved. To me, it's just a stat check. It's like, do you have poise and strength? You win. If you don't have poise and you have strength, well, you lose. Like, you can't really dodge because there's no depth perception in the inky black world of the Abyss, which is totally different when you fight the Father of the Abyss, but that's fine. Like,
he's not in the Abyss, though. he's just Father of the Abyss.
He's just the father of it. No, I don't feel like you can fight them effectively. No,
you're definitely at a disadvantage, especially with that depth perception, which I actually kind of like. I think it's kind of charming in a way. Like, you think you're close to him, but you're not. You have to get like right on him in order to like dodge properly and hit him properly. I love their design.
I really dislike their design.
Really?
I think they look like dumb fairies. Like, I really don't like the way they look. I feel like they're very over designed.
That you could. I mean, you might have a point there.
But I understand though. Like. I love that they're in this inky black darkness. I just don't like what it does to the gameplay. I love the presentation.
Yeah.
You know? And
You never play a game that's like absolutely dark. Like pitch black. Can't see anything. Except for these beings that appear.
It's cool. It is interesting. I just feel like it's either a cakewalk or it's almost impossibly hard.
It's a test of... It's not even really a test. It's like you have to speedrun this boss. You have to kill them while they're alone before the others spawn.
It's kind of like gargoyles.
Yeah, except for it's way worse. Because like 5 of them can be there.
You can have like
4.
up to 6. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It is not 4.
It's not 4 kings.
What I did was I just put on Havel's armor.
You just tanked the whole thing?
I just tanked it.
Nice.
And it was easy.
I think they're weak to lightning. So... I forgot. I think I had the man-eater serpent or the man-serpent greatsword. I think plus 10 at this time, and I just put on lightning.
Goodbye.
And I mean, it's still for me now. It took me like 2 or 3 tries to kill them all the way and like get the timing right.
Just put on Havel's armor. You just win.
I can't fat roll like that. I'm sorry.
You never roll. That's the thing. Like, you literally just don't roll.
That's true. Yeah, you just take everything
because you have so much poise.
Yeah,
that they can't stop you. It's amazing.
It's true.
And their damage isn't super effective against his armor. Like, it only does 1/6 of your health.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised.
I mean, that's a lot if you don't kill them fast enough.
So you can just go. But if you're like me and you have a plus 15 great club,
yeah,
you do like 600.
You're
damage.
bonking these guys.
It was fantastic.
I'm a big fan of the Four Kings.
I'm glad for you.
I don't think a lot of people are a fan of the Four Kings. I think people actually despise them in every way.
Really?
I think so. Just because of how disadvantaged the player is right out the gate. It's not a fair fight.
It's not even that I don't think it's fair. I think I don't like it because it doesn't lend itself to the gameplay. But I appreciate it in that it makes you think differently. You know, so maybe I don't hate them as much as I think I do. Because it's kind of like Gwendolyn, where if you just do it in a way that makes sense, it's not hard at all.
Yeah.
You know, you just throw on the armor, you tank it. Well, I beat it my first try when I did that, right? And I had like 10 Estus left, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe it is a good boss because it makes you play differently, which ultimately is the point of I think part of what makes a boss good is if they challenge you and make you do things in a different way. That's what made the DLC so good to me.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump the gun here. But those bosses were all good because they forced me to try new things. And anyways.
I like that. But let's quickly go through the DLC before we finish off this game.
Oh. They look like Wrath of the Lich King from World of Warcraft. I just feel like they're way over.
I see what you're saying, yeah, a little bit.
I like their face when you kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. But we get to you kill an enemy in Seath's fortress, and
it's the worst introduction to the DLC. So.
You get this broken pendant from a frozen golem, which makes absolutely no sense.
You happen to find
this broken pendant.
Random.
And then you get into Darkroot Garden, where you killed one of the Hydras, and you see there's a golden golem, which you can kill him earlier on, but you can kill him, and then this person comes out of him.
The Princess of Dusk.
Yeah. And
are we saving the DLC for last, or are we doing it now?
It's just the DLC and then the end.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So then this purple cloud appears.
Ah, yes.
And the Hand of Manus pulls you out of space and time, grabs you because of the pendant. He wants the pendant, and he pulls you into the past.
Pretty cool.
In this place called Ulasil. And your first introduction into Ulasil is the Sanctuary Guardian, who I think is a pretty cool boss.
I like Sanctuary Guardian.
I think he's pretty neat. I think he is funny enough. I think for all the DLC bosses, they're the most like Bloodborne boss-wise.
Very Bloodborne. Yeah. Well, actually, I think Manus might be more Bloodborne. But
I think they're all Bloodborne bosses.
Close call. Yeah. There's literally a Bloodborne character in this DLC.
Yeah, with Charming Chester, or whatever his name is.
Straight up is just a guy from Bloodborne.
But yeah, Sanctuary Guardian is pretty cool. He's like a better designed, or maybe a more, you can say classical designed man-eater.
He's like a manticore. Oh, yeah. He's so cool. I love him.
He's very cool.
Love it when he shoots lightning at me. Just kidding. I hate that.
I was so overpowered during this DLC.
Me too.
But like, it sucks for you because you're doing it all New Game Plus, which is twice as hard.
Yeah, I mean, man, he's still a pushover. I think he took like 4 hits for me to kill.
Yeah.
But he is much easier than the rest of the bosses. Why
do
you think that is?
He's not a good gauge of like, you should be here.
He's not a good pace setter, as it were, for the DLC.
Not a good barometer.
Like, you think it's going to be easy because he's got like no health. He's really low health, even if he does a bunch of damage. The rest of the bosses, way more health.
And then you meet Elizabeth after this fight, who's a giant mushroom, and she wants you to go defeat Manus.
Yes.
Because Artorias had gone through and he hasn't returned, and she wants you to save the Princess of Dusk, right?
Yes.
And you figure out while you're in after this like area with Elizabeth that Ulasil is the Darkroot Garden that like hundreds of years into the past. During when like, I mean, you can look around, it's the same map as Darkroot Garden. You can see Honor Londo on the mountain, but like the undead parish isn't there. It's not built. And like there's like a Colosseum built, and it's this place where, you know, magic has the vine people are like
gardeners.
They're gardeners. There's a society here The golems are like protecting them, and it's very peaceful until you show up.
And then it's not.
It's not. And yeah, then you meet, I think his name is Charming Chester.
His name is Charming Chester, yeah.
And he has also been pulled out of space and time.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And he is straight up from Bloodborne. Like,
he's got a gun.
He has a gun.
It's a crossbow, but it's a gun.
Yeah. But he is dressed like a Yharnamite.
He talks like one.
Yes.
And I love him. But I just love Bloodborne.
And I think that goes to show, like, because Miyazaki was making this DLC while others were making Dark Souls 2. And then right after the DLC, he was into Bloodborne. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really cool.
I think he knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
And you really see it, especially in Manus, man. I mean, Manus is pretty much the cleric beast.
Pretty much.
He even has like an accordion arm, like the cleric beast. Anyways, it's pretty wild.
But yeah, Black Dragon Calamite. I'll just give him some lore, and then since you fought him this time, I'll let you talk about him. But he is the last of the ancient dragons, and he is the bringer of calamity.
What does the calamity ring do?
I forgot what it does.
I
could look through that giant book right now, but I don't want to.
Look it up while you're talking.
He is later on, like, the scales you get for the dragon scales for weapons are his scales.
Really?
And
that's cool.
Yeah, and he like the dragon knights worshipped Calamite.
Interesting.
What is the?
It says it makes the game harder.
Well, it makes sense.
Receive double damage. What? Dang.
Anyway, yeah, sorry. Talk to me about the bringer of calamity, Calamite.
I love Calamite. I think Calamite's
I remember him being really cool.
He's a really cool boss.
He's the black dragon.
Black dragon Calamite. He's definitely a dragon done right. Mm-hmm. In a different way. Because I think the Gaping Dragon is a good dragon too. It's just this is a totally different type of dragon.
Yeah, it's not your normal flying dragon.
Yeah. It's like he's
like Asylum Demon and dragons combined.
Yeah.
Just sits on you.
Takes a little seat on you. This is much more like a traditional European dragon.
Yeah. Medieval type of dragon.
Yeah, like the kind of thing Arthur would have fought or whatever. Mm. I think he's really good. He hits hard. I think the hardest thing is his magic. If you don't have good magic defense, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I defeated him and Manus in just the lamest ways, because at this point in the game, I'm two-handing my weapon just for the damage, and I'm just dodging. Mm-hmm. But it really just doesn't work with Calamite. Yeah. I think other people say the opposite, that you should dodge with this boss and with Manus. I disagree, because you can't see Manus, but whatever. That's probably just a me thing.
I think it is, because you couldn't see like the shadows and the pathless to hide from the eagle.
I can't see anything. I don't know if it's my TV, but stop it. But with Black Dragon Calamite, his attacks are just so big, and especially like his magic attacks, they one-shot me. Every single one of them would just one-shot me. So what I did is I just used Havel's shield, and I was just really, really patient.
Good for you.
It probably took 7 minutes.
Nice.
But it was really rewarding. I really like him. I think he's a really cool boss. Mm-hmm. So I was a big fan.
I like it.
I feel bad for all the Dex players, all three of you, because this boss would be a nightmare without Havel's shield.
Or maybe with the Dex, they can also have like spells and stuff, so that would make it easier.
Yeah, maybe. Really fun fight though.
Yeah. And then we get into Knight Artorias, the Abyss Walker. He would hunt dark wraiths, and he was also able to travel or traverse the abyss with his ring. And then obviously in a fight to protect Ulasil, he and Sif fought Manus, but Artorias sacrificed himself to protect Sif. He was also there to rescue Princess Dusk at the time. He is very much a Bloodborne boss. He is very much a Bloodborne boss in a Dark Souls game, and that is not good for the player. Like, I gotta say, these bosses, you are at a huge disadvantage because they are fighting and they are moving as fast and as like deadly as like a later Souls game would.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like throws you for a loop once you've been like killing stupid stray demons and Nidos
and
Taurus demons that kind of pushovers. So
the difficulty skyrockets.
Yeah.
I think I only had to try the most I tried any boss before the DLC was twice.
Yeah.
Before beating him.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's not a brag. Well, I guess Owen or Ornstein and Smo took me some time. The first time I beat him, I think it was on my third try. The second time, I just got really unlucky. Plus, it was New Game Plus, and it took me probably 10 tries. But these are the first bosses that really challenged me at all in this game. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, there's a huge spike. Huge.
Like Calamite probably took me 10 times. Artorias probably took me at least 10, maybe 15. And Manus probably took me like 15 tries.
Yeah. No, he's tough. And learning he's pretty unpredictable.
Artorias?
Yeah.
I thought he was easier to predict than Manus.
Yeah, but like you don't fight Manus yet.
This is true.
So at the time, he's the most unpredictable boss you're fighting.
Compared to any other boss you fight.
He's swinging, he's flying, he's charging up this thing that makes him do double damage. It's crazy. But it's like his soul is still there, kind of. So as this like abyss-ridden being who has lost, he is still fighting the dark wraiths and he's still doing good, you know, to the best of his ability. So that's kind of cool. It goes to show, like, again, like how pure Artorias was.
I love Artorias.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a tough fight. And then once you kill him, his lover, Ciaran, shows up at his grave or whatever, and you can give her the soul, or you can kill her.
Where? I never saw her.
So if you go back to after you go to like the Ulasil township, and you like light that bonfire or whatever, you can go back to Artorias's place, and she's just kneeling at his like grave.
How did I miss her?
Yeah, and like the ring that she has is behind the grave at Sif's location. Aww. The Hornet's ring, that's her ring.
Oh,
yeah. So she was there until she died, pretty much.
I love that.
Just really sad.
Question, by the way, at his grave, doesn't that look just like the thing you become at the end of Bloodborne?
The slug thing?
Yeah.
What thing?
Okay, so I'll show you a picture of it. I'll put a picture of it on the YouTube stream. Sorry for you guys who don't watch our show.
I thought that was just like maybe Ciaran's hood or whatever.
Something.
But no. But yeah, I love this boss, and I usually give the soul to her. I think the first time I beat the game, I killed her.
You didn't murder her like an animal?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me see this.
I don't know what that... Oh, is it like his hair?
Oh, that's his hair. That's kind of weird.
That's freaking weird. No, when I played it and like took a screenshot of it,
you thought it was the one reborn or whatever.
Because what is that called?
I forgot what it's called. There's a name for it. It's like crazy.
It's like the Eldritch Gods or whatever. You're reborn as an Eldritch being and you're a slug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it looked like exactly the same, and I was really confused.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening?
That's funny.
But tell me what you think of him as a boss. You said you thought he's
really tough. Huge learning curve, but it's a good fight.
It's probably even though I get that it's unfair and that he moves fast, I think it's like the most fair fight in the game. It just feels so.
You're finally on your toes.
Yeah, and like you're fighting someone like you. I just really enjoy that. And I really enjoy his moveset because once you understand it and get to know it, it is really predictable.
Yeah.
You know, because you can understand what he's doing.
And
I think he's the perfect Like, he's very necessary, because if it was just Manus, you would just shoot yourself in the face. Like, he's a good stepping stone to Manus, because I think Artorias, at least in my opinion, is significantly easier than Manus.
Yeah.
Simply due to the fact that you have to hit him probably 5 or 6 less times. You know, Manus' health pool is just huge.
I agree.
I really like Artorias.
Makes sense because Manus defeated Artorias, so
very true.
But yeah, Artorias is a great fight. Lives up to the hype.
Totally.
Everyone's like, dude, the DLC is so great, and that the bosses are so hard. It's like, yeah, they're really tough.
I'm glad they were right, because often they're not.
Yes.
But it really does live up. I mean, he's hard, but he's also super satisfying. He made it worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Although, this is the point in the game where the run-ups just seem redundant and annoying.
Yeah.
I'm sure every Dark Souls player out there is lighting up their torch, pulling out their pitchfork from their buttholes
mean like
where
this
they
whole
keep it.
Ulyssil area?
Just having to run up to the bosses. I timed it. It's like a minute and a half.
Yeah, they're pretty redundant, because like there's a lot of just empty space where you're just dodging enemies.
It's like
there's no real like the shortcuts are not really short. They're just long elevators.
Yeah. So
I agree.
It's moments like that when it's like, try again button.
Yeah.
Like, I get why they don't do that. I get it.
I wish they would put bonfires like right before the fog gate.
I agree. And it's
sometimes.
I don't feel like it would break the game.
I don't know why it would.
Like, is suffering through wasting my time a game mechanic? You know? And like, it's really inconsistent. Sometimes there is one right before the boss door, you know? But other times there's Flame Lurker, where you get to run a minute and a half, or Artorias, or Manus.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if it's going to be this hard of a boss, just put a bonfire in front of it.
My dude, Ornstein and Smo. You have to go through that stupid elevator every time. Dude. Like, any of the elevators take forever.
Awful.
And like, if you miss that first elevator, you have to wait until it comes back up, or else you will die if you try to roll onto it.
I always use the other one, and then use the speedrun jump.
That takes forever.
Well, you can jump.
What do you mean jump?
When you're running up the staircase, you can double back and jump over the railing. Onto little... Watch speedruns.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But still.
That still takes forever.
It's like, seriously?
Especially if you want Solaire.
Why can't there be a bonfire like above where like if you're in the cathedral area right before Ornstein and Smo, you can go up the stairs and like you can summon Solaire there, I think. You can just keep going up, and then like there's this open space where there's like a couple chests. Just put a bonfire there.
I think they should. And they should make it so that when you kill those giant dudes, they're gone, so Solaire doesn't just try to fight them. Yeah,
those were definitely like enemies I thought were a one-time thing. Like there's enemies in Dark Souls games that are like that, where it's like you kill them and they're gone. I wish it was like that.
It's not like I want them to be gone because I think they're particularly difficult. It's one of those things where it's just annoying. Yeah. It's just a frustrating thing. Like, if I'm going to try this boss 10 times, don't make me waste 3 minutes of my time every time not testing my skill. Yeah. Right? So I don't see a good reason to not just put a bonfire in front of the boss door.
I agree. Especially in these areas, but whatever. But yeah, we go through Ulysil's township, which is just a terrible area. I hate the mages.
Dude, they're so annoying. I love it.
And then you get into like the chasm of the abyss, where the souls are, like the hollow souls or whatever. Soul sprites, what they're called? I forgot.
Sounds good.
So that's kind of cool. It's basically just at that bonfire, it's just a game of dodging the ghosties so you don't get hurt, and then just getting to Manus with full health or whatever. You good?
I think so. Let me make sure this is still recording.
Yeah. And then you get to Manus, and oh boy, is that just a pain in the butt.
A big old pain in the butt.
Yeah. He is the toughest boss in the game, by a long shot. And he's pretty unforgiving. There's a lot of...
by a country mile.
Yeah.
He is the hardest boss.
He is like a Bloodborne boss. He has lots of moves like a Bloodborne boss. He is way faster than you. You basically have to perfectly dodge everything. And he even has some attacks that you can't dodge. You have to take the hit.
And his stage is the same color as him. And you can't see.
I never had that problem.
I know. It's because I have bad vision.
Yeah. But Manus, Father of the Abyss, he is, or people think, and I agree, that he is the furtive pygmy.
Oh.
He's the one who found the Dark Soul, which makes sense. He's the Father of the Abyss. Yeah.
He's an interesting boss. I love that you can summon Sif for it. I think people think Sif's more useless than he is. I thought he was good. He drew aggro from me a couple times.
Yeah, he's useless in damage, but he distracts Manus. And I think he distracts him a lot because, at least I think, it could just be because of how the game is programmed, but, Manus wants to finish off what he couldn't,
Yeah, he wants
kill
to finish
Artorias,
off the dog that he was trying to kill
Sif.
earlier.
So yeah, I had to summon Sif as well. Sif didn't really do much to Manus, but he distracted him for a short period of time. But yeah, he took a while.
How many tries do you think it took you to kill Manus?
At least 7.
It was quite a few for me. Manus he's a weird boss. Because like I said, it felt a lot of his attacks look really similar.
Yeah, there's like a few tells that he does for certain attacks. Like the one that you never want to get hit is his barrage, where he spins around and he keeps whacking you while you're on the ground. Stupidest thing ever.
It's pretty much an insta kill.
Yeah,
if he catches you in it.
It's awful, but he does like kind of a roar before he does it, so you know when to back away. And usually he would attack Sif with it.
Yeah, I've always felt so bad.
Beat this dog down. But yeah.
No, I think he's a good boss. Really varied. Love his moveset. I even actually don't mind the magic. I think it's really interesting. Even though the rain, I think, is pretty cheap.
Yeah, the rain is cheap. I like when he does the one where it like surrounds you. It like you just have to click off the lock on for a bit, face the other way, and then face him again. I think it's pretty
Or you can just run to him because it doesn't come all the way to him.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah. If you just attach to him and just start attacking him, he can't hit you.
Oh, I didn't know that. That one made it
way easier. Everyone tells me to use the silver pendant.
Silver pendant.
It's too much work. It like neglects his magic.
Whatever.
Be a man and use Havel's Great Shield. That's what I did.
Yeah.
We exchanged blows and killed each other at the last moment. It was actually pretty climactic.
I think I was using a Black Knight shield with a man serpent sword still.
Wowza. It was a good fight.
Yeah, it was good. Man, it felt good to finish him and knowing like, okay, I can just go kill the last boss now.
I know.
Felt pretty good.
Thank you. It's over.
And that's all I have to really say. You save the Princess of Dusk, and then you get returned back to your time and space. Which, another thing, this is so late into it. Like, Dark Souls is a game where time and space is intertwined, and you don't know exactly when things are happening or when they've happened.
Yeah.
I think there is like a clear, like if you have to study it basically to understand the timeline, but it is one of those weird things where certain characters have been around for centuries and others haven't. So it's pretty cool. But we can now go to we never even mentioned Frampt or Kath or whatever his name is.
I don't care.
Primordial serpent with the weird voices.
Don't care at all.
Hello.
Let me
like
put you in my mouth.
Yeah, and they have like human teeth, which is so unnerving.
The most disturbing thing in the world. They're fantastic.
But yeah, you go down underneath the Firelink Shrine, and you have the Lord Vessel there, and you put the Lord Souls in there, and then the door opens to the kiln of the first flame, which I absolutely adore. I adore this area top to down. I think it's absolutely beautiful in how destructive it looks. Everything is just ashes. And you're basically in like a bonfire in itself. Pretty much.
Pretty cool.
And you're there to either rekindle the first flame or to bring about the Age of Darkness. And I think it's cool. Gwyn's Black Knights are there, and you just like kill all of them. Every single type of Black Knight is there. So it's a perfect place to farm for weapons and armor.
By the end of your first run, you have 10 chunks.
Yeah, you have everything you need to be like a Black Knight in New Game Plus. But yeah, we get to Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, Lord of Sunlight, greatest of the gods.
Ooh.
Sacrificed himself 1,000 years ago to link the first flame.
I love this area, and I love this boss.
Me too.
I think it's interesting that this area, to me, has more personality than Ulasil. I actually really don't like any of the areas in the DLC.
It's I like it because it just shows how Darkroot Garden used to be, and there's a lot of
more obvious.
What do you mean?
I didn't feel it was very obvious that it was the same place. I didn't know it was the same place till someone told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's like, you can see everything. Like, there's certain landmarks, and like you can see Honor Londo, and
I think I just didn't notice. I assumed it was a different city.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Because it looks so different.
It was 1,000 years ago.
I know. I wish it was a little more obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
I wish it was just a boss rush, honestly, but I get why it isn't. I do love that Artorias gets to take the credit for everything you did, though. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that part of the story.
Yeah, like, because you will be forgotten, basically, but your actions won't, and the legend will live on as Artorias, the Abyss Walker, and stuff like that.
So cool.
It is really cool.
But all that just to say,
a little Back to the Future action.
Yeah, but I really love this area, and I think it's awesome. It's one of my favorite areas. It's the exact right length, and then it ends in one of my favorite bosses. I love Gwyn.
Gwyn it's not hard, but it doesn't mean anything, guys. Like, I hate when people say like, oh, like Gwyn is so easy. Like, it's like, who cares?
It doesn't need to be hard.
It's a beautiful ending. It's a beautiful boss.
I also think Gwyn is really hard if you can't parry.
If you can't parry, he can be pretty dang difficult. I mean, it's a beautiful boss. He's not hard. Doesn't need to be hard. It's so sad.
I love the music.
There's this it's just this nice. Gwyn's theme is so beautiful on piano, and it's beautiful on organ and guitar. I mean, it's just all beautiful. It's all great. And it's like you're killing this guy who is a fading flame. He's a Lord of Cinder. He is but embers now from what he used to be. And you're killing him so that you can reignite. You're basically doing what he wants if you rekindle the flame. What he wants. Yeah. So you're fighting him for his soul, his Lord's soul. Or after you kill him, you can turn your back on the flame and go from there. And then the primordial serpents will usher you in as the first Lord of Darkness, or the Lord of Humanity. But yeah, Gwyn is an amazing boss.
He's easily one of my favorites. Feels very fair.
Beautifully designed.
Oh, he looks awesome. Love his sword. He's just really cool. It is easy if you can parry, but I think that it's so rewarding when you do parry him.
Yeah, I'm always able to land the first parry when he jumps at you. I'm always able to land that one, but after that, it gets a little dodgy for me, so I usually beat him in an honest way, I'd say. Not in a parry way.
I parried him 4 times in a row to win.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
That's what you're quote unquote supposed to do. But yeah, I love Golem.
He's awesome.